American motorsports. Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend has brought together some of the biggest names, like all the former winners of the Brickyard. IndyCar kicked things off on Saturday with Alexander Rossi breaking a 3+ year winless streak. NASCAR Xfinity followed that up on Saturday. A.J. Allmendinger getting his second Indy win. Now it's time to cap off the triple header with the NASCAR Cup Series on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here at the world's greatest race course.
I love it!
Welcome to Countdown to Green, presented by Sonic from Indianapolis. What a weekend has been so far. Now it's time for the Cup guys to take their turn at a shot to kiss the bricks. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the front of the grid. Marty Snyder, along with the Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett, the Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr. By the way, DJ invented kissing the bricks. You're a two-time Brickyard 400 winner here. So, DJ, is there a better celebration of American motorsports than this weekend?
No, just incredible what the IndyCar Series and NASCAR has been able to bring together, bringing these three series to the most famous motorsports place in the world here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and for all of them to be so totally different and put on great shows, and for us to be able to bring every one of them right here on NBC.
Yeah, I love to be able to see those drivers from each series be curious about the other, right? We've seen Cup drivers sitting on the pit boxes for the IndyCar guys during practice. For everybody to get a chance to kind of peek into their profession and see what they're dealing with and how they do things, that's a lot of fun for all of us.
The on-track action has been fantastic. You know, it's funny how it works. All the off-track stuff has been the conversation all week long, starting with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. They finished first and second at Pocono, but they were disqualified. Chase Elliott was given the win at Pocono last week. Let's bring in Steve Letarte on this. First DQ of a Cup winner in 62 years, Steve. So what exactly did Joe Gibbs Racing do? Why did they do it, and was the penalty fair?
Yeah, it was definitely big news. So what did they do? Very simply, post-race, NASCAR inspects the first and second place car. They remove the decals, the colorful wrap off the nose of those cars, and material was found underneath the wrap. That material was put in place to modify the shape of the nose. That is illegal. You're not allowed to make any alterations or modifications to the shape of that part. Why do they do it? It's an aero advantage, either less drag or more efficient downforce. Everybody wants a faster race car. So that really questions, what about the penalty? Well, back in January, when the rules came out and the new penalties established, NASCAR made it clear the integrity of the next-gen car must be upheld. These are parts that are purchased and are expected to be raced as they are purchased. That was the big infraction for Joe Gibbs. But I'll add, guys, as a crew chief, I think this is more than just Joe Gibbs Racing. The entire garage is going to have to change the culture. Your job as a crew chief is to create a faster race car. I believe that NASCAR has now put clear parameters into where that culture can and can't bleed over. Cars are still going to be faster than somebody else, but you have to find other ways to increase the speed.
You guys know crew chiefs like Steve are always going to push the limit, right? But I want to hear from the driver's side of it. Junior, how would you react if you were DQ'd after you won a race?
Well, I'd be disappointed, obviously, but I'd go to my crew chief or I'd go to the guys on my team and I'd say, thanks a lot for trying your hardest. Give me every advantage you can to try to win this race. I don't want you to slow down. I don't want you to stop trying to find an advantage. I'm going to work hard as a driver to do everything I can. You try to bring the best race car that I can win with to the racetrack every single weekend. Obviously, we got to do things a little differently, but there are some gray areas in this car. I refuse to believe that it's all black and white. So I want my guy to keep working, find those gray areas, and write these new rules for NASCAR.
You know, Marty, I can speak from experience with my own Xfinity team in 1995 at Michigan, where the intake manifold, my win was taken away there in that series. So it was hurtful, but you always appreciate, as Dale Jr. is talking about, the effort that's put forth to do this. But Steve brought up the word culture. And I look at culture and procedure. From 1948, when NASCAR started, to 2021, through that last year, everything was one way. Everybody pushing the limits in a lot of ways. In 2022, they had things explained to them in a different way, that there were going to be things, the penalties were going to be much greater for certain parts and pieces there. You just pointed out there's other areas. They're not going to stop trying. I appreciate the efforts that are there, but you have to be willing and ready to take the consequences that come along with that.
But like Steve said, the garage area is on notice now. They know, don't mess with the car. They know not to do that. So the other big off-track news, Kurt Busch is out once again this week at 2311 in the 45 car after suffering concussion-like symptoms following this wreck last week at Pocono. Such a hard hit. Ty Gibbs, grandson of Joe Gibbs, behind the wheel once again this weekend. Junior, you understand this situation better than anyone. What's Kurt going through right now?
Well, I want everybody to think about this. This guy's been going to the racetrack his entire life. This is the first time where he's had to sit at home and watch his team go to the racetrack without him. This is an extremely difficult, emotional day for Kurt Busch. Now, he's also trying to go through rehab, trying to get better. The difficult part about this injury is there is no timeline. There's no, oh, it's going to be healed in 4 weeks. You're going to be well in 6 weeks. You just do the rehab every day, hoping for results. Now, we know that he's gotten in front of the right experts to be able to give him that homework, and he's at home right now working his tail off to try to get back in that race car. And I believe that if he does the homework, he will be back, and he'll be as good, if not better, and back winning races again.
So that's the tough part, Junior. What are the steps? I mean, there's no playbook to say, here's how you get back in the race car.
Yeah, every concussion is different, and everybody needs a little bit different rehab to be able to handle the type of issues that they're dealing with. And so Kurt's been in front of the right people, as I said, so he's got the homework, all right? And he just kind of has to trust the process and just listen to one person, and that's the doctor. Don't listen to anyone else. You're going to get advice from everybody. Everybody's going to tell you how to fix this. But you got the right guy in front of you. Listen to that expert, do everything he says, and everything works out.
DJ, take us inside the garage area. Is there a growing concern among drivers about the impact they're absorbing behind the wheel of this new car?
Yeah, certainly there is, and the drivers have known this from the beginning with this car, and there's certain things that are going to happen. The numbers don't exactly show it, but the drivers are telling us, look, these impacts are much greater in the seat. That's where the energy is going. Have to find a fix. Everyone knows that safety is at the forefront all the time. They're doing everything that they can to make sure that these drivers are safe and can be back here every single weekend after a crash.
Time to see what's on the menu, presented by Sonic. Boy, Chase Elliott's on a roll. He was awarded that win at Pocono, as we mentioned. That is now 5 straight top 2 finishes. We'll hear from him shortly. 5 races to go in the regular season. Is it must-win time for names like Blaney, Truex, and Harvick? We'll discuss that coming up. And could today's road course produce a surprise winner? So far, 3 road courses in 2022, 3 first-time winners, so you never know. What better way to break down the chaos today, looking at the playoff standings, which could really flip upside down if there is a first-time winner, and we do expect chaos here at Indianapolis like we saw last week. So we have with us a couple of guys who happen to have the same nickname, the Mayors, the mayor of the Cup Garage, Jeff Burton, and former IndyCar driver, the mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe. Afternoon, Mayors.
Hey, Marty, we are standing right here where everybody wants to be. That's on the Brickyards. They want to be kissing this thing, this row of bricks when the race is over. But how do you do that? It all starts with restarts.
It really does. I mean, we didn't see a lot of restarts, a lot of carnage in the Xfinity race yesterday, not as much as we were expecting. But with how much is on the line today, Jeff, I can't help but think there's going to be a little more pushing and shoving. That's going to lead to more restarts. And that cautions breed cautions. That is going to bring more restarts in, more opportunity to make up ground.
Pushing and shoving. You've been watching some NASCAR races. The other part I think is going to be crazy is in road course racing, outbraking somebody is so important. These cars brake very well, but if you're going to make an advance, you got to find a way to drive that car deeper into the corner, and that can get you and the guy you're trying to pass in trouble.
It can. Not only could there be contact, we saw a lot of right front lockups in the Xfinity race that can flat spot these tires and destroy them. So one of the things these drivers have to think about is, do I want to dive deep, do that big lunge, or do I do the slow in, fast out approach? Focus on really setting up the exit so that way you're already side by side down the straightaway. You don't have to worry about braking too much later. You focus getting out of 14, you focus getting out of turn 4, and then that way you don't have to risk as much on the brakes.
It's going to be so much fun watching these guys go at it. We've seen it all year long. There's a ton of intensity. And Rut, I understand you're at the golf course. I've never seen you play golf. Why are you there?
Well, my friend, you know, there's history all over this track, including right here next door at the Brickyard Crossing, because the Beatles came here to this putting green in 1964. They were on their way to the State Fairgrounds to put on one of those amazing packed shows that the British invasion caught, and the Fab Four were loving their time here. You know, speaking of Fab Four, they did teach us that you can't buy me love. You know what you can buy, though? A big piece of property on the west side of Indianapolis and a barn. That barn right there, that thing is so historic. It's the oldest building here, and the original 4 founders met there to design the track, the layout in 1909. Without that barn, we might not have this amazing track. Unbelievable to see the history right next door, guys.
Good stuff, Rut. Hey, DJ, just when you thought you knew all the history here. I mean, I did not know that fact.
You know, I learned something from Rut every single week, but this goes to the top of the list.
I did check with him, by the way. He did book your post-race tee time. So you're good to go, DJ. Hey, when we come back, we'll hear from Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, and a moment William Byron will never forget. That's next. Get ready for an all-access pass to the world of NASCAR like you've never seen it. The drama, the pressure, and the danger, all to become a champion. Don't miss the new NASCAR docu-series, Race for the Championship. Premieres September 1st only on USA.
For the first time ever, the Cup Series take on the road course here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh, multiple cars into the wall here. More calamity on the back straightaway. Oh, he's got to spin Denny. Denny is spun out.
A.J. Allmendinger will survive the carnage, and he will drive to victory at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And this is unbelievable. In my wildest dreams, could never imagine the way that just played out.
What an emotional day for A.J. Allmendinger, who literally survived last year to get the win here at the Brickyard, and then did it again yesterday in the Xfinity Series race. So A.J.'s won the last two here, and he's hanging out with Parker Kligerman.
Right, Marty, you can almost feel the glow coming off him from the win last year, the win yesterday in Xfinity. I know that had to mean a lot. What's it mean coming back here after having that big win last year?
Well, it's, I mean, this is Indianapolis. At least for me, there's no place other than here. That feeling of winning, kissing the bricks. Last year was amazing, and to be able to do it again yesterday it's just surreal in a way, and memories that I'll never forget. So we got this Goldfish Casino Slots car, Chevy right now. We struggled a little bit. It's kind of eerie like last year, because we struggled last year. We didn't have a great car, so starting 20th, got some work to do, but we'll try to be there at the end. We saw last year, anything can happen.
You also got to be in a pretty cool photo with a bunch of legends here at Indy. What'd that mean to you to be in that great photo?
Well, every time I say this, my wife tries to punch me. She hates when I say this. I didn't feel like I belonged there. All the icons of motorsports. I mean, you can go on down the line between A.J. Foyt and Mario Andretti and Rick Mears, Elio, and Jimmy, Scott Dixon, on down the line. I was happy just to be a part of it. I didn't just sneak into the photo. They actually asked me to be in a photo for doing something great here. So, truly one of the most coolest and the biggest honor photos I've ever been a part of, so can't wait.
Good luck in another race at Indy.
Thank you, man.
Well, when you follow a guy like A.J. Allmendinger, whether it's an interview or on a racetrack, it's a lot to follow. But I think on a road course, your expertise has become well known. How good do you feel about the Indy road course today?
I don't know if I'd call it expertise or not, but yeah, we've our Napa Chevy's been okay, I would say, this weekend. We haven't been exactly like we want to be, so I think it's going to be a bit of a grind today, but you know, you're gonna have those weekends. So I'm looking forward to the challenge and seeing what we can do. You know, it's going to be interesting. There's so many different game plans and people in different scenarios as far as points go and playoff situations and people who have to win versus, you know, need some points. So that to me is going to be the story of the day, as to how guys want to play the stages and who wants those points and who's gonna short them. So we'll try to stay in the fight, try to move forward. We were a good bit off pace yesterday in qualifying, so hopefully made the right decisions last night and try to make the most of whatever the day brings.
You made history this week with your latest win. What's it been like? Because it was kind of odd.
Yeah, you know, look, it's not no race car driver wants to win that way. You know, I would much rather win on track and earn that position. It's a scenario that I don't think anyone wants to be in, including the sanctioning body. You know, and I think they're just they're put in a place with this car that they're making some big statements this year. We saw that earlier in the year with the Roush cars, and then obviously last week and then even throughout the week this week. So it's you know, I get it. You know, from trying to enforce things, but on my end personally, it's not how I want to win. I think anybody who knows me knows that, and I want to go and earn it on track, and I don't feel like we were at our best last weekend. So when I feel like we're at our best, that's something to celebrate. But that was just a unique situation that, you know, we were just in the spot to end up with the trophy. So we'll certainly try to improve, you know, today from where we were last week, and try to get one out right.
We'll see if he gets to celebrate his way today.
Catching up with Austin Cindric, who I know has a lot of family history here. You've won here in the Xfinity Series, and now you're on the front row for the Cup Series race. What's that mean to you?
It means we got a decent pit stall and a decent shot to win the race today. So I'm looking forward to it. It's obviously an important weekend for myself, our race team, our partners. You know, we got a lot of people here. They're partners of Team Penske, and it'd be great to give them a great run.
So what are you expecting today? Now that you have that track position up front, how do you hold on to it?
Crazy restarts. Crazy restarts, man. Opportunity corner number 1. You look at the end of the race last year, and you know it's pretty wild. With or without the curbing issues, you know, guys dive bombing and making it 4 or 5 wide. Looks like Pocono, but we're slowing down to about 30 mile an hour. So I think that's the best part about having track position is the uncertainty is significantly less the further up you go.
Good luck in those restarts.
Yep. Thanks.
Well, William Byron has had an interesting weekend so far. It started with a hauler fire when the truck got here. Is that all resolved, and how good's the car for the race today?
Yeah, no, the guys did a great job fixing all the damage, and obviously we don't have that hauler anymore, but we were able to salvage the car and parts and pieces. So luckily the car was unscathed, a little smoky, so we had to clean out the smoke and interior of the car, but everything's been fine. We've been struggling, but hopefully it made some good adjustments today. We're really loose in practice and not much rear grip off the corner, so hopefully we have that today and should be better.
Did you get any great advice from the great Mario Andretti? You got to ride in the 2-seater.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, really. Being able to have Jimmy Johnson there, too, kind of walk me through what it was going to be like. I was so shocked by the helmet lift, you know, how you get the helmet lift down the straightaway and how that affects your vision, and trying to kind of look around the car to see where I was going, and just the amount of grip that those cars have. So it was really cool to do that with Mario, and definitely kind of itched something that I wanted to try.
Good luck today. Marty, it's been an up-and-down weekend. Certainly ended with an up with that ride with Mario.
Boy, talk about the mic drop from William Byron there, ride with Mario Andretti, which you got to do, Junior. So what's that like?
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but you know, you're riding with Mario Andretti, so you get that opportunity, you take it, man. I mean, it was a cool thing for me, and Mario's great, really awesome guy to spend time with, especially in that kind of a moment. Both of you on the racetrack together.
Speaking of rides around the racetrack here, both of you were not able to run the road course here at Indianapolis. James Hinchcliffe has plenty of experience here. So earlier this weekend, Hinch took Junior to school.
Hey guys, Hinch here, sitting front seat in the Corvette pace car here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. And my driver today, none other than Dale Earnhardt Jr., getting his first laps here at the road course, right?
That's right. I'm excited. You're going to tell me how to get around this place, right?
All right, let's school you, man. Let's teach you. Let's go.
This place is a lot of fun. I mean, I hear the drivers talking about that all the time.
The key to turn 1, though, is actually not carrying too much speed, because you got to set up for turn 2. So you hit your apex, don't let it exit all the way.
Oh, a lot of curve right there.
I love it. A little loose on power, that's normal.
Now, I don't know where to go here. I can't see, it's so flat.
There's no brake markers in turn 4. It's so easy to overdo it. But again, you got to really focus on the exit here, because now it's the flat out chicane. Take all the curve on the left, all the curve on the right. Get your hands straight, hard on the power.
How was that?
That was pretty good, man. I feel like you've done this before. Now, this section's so important because you never want to go too wide on any of the exits here. You're always setting up for the next corner, so leave it in the middle. All the curve again in turn 8. All the curve, and then some dirt if you want. Everything you like there. Nice.
We're breaking all the rules, Hinch.
We're breaking all the records, man. I don't think the pace car's ever been this quick around this place. All right, here we go. Last little section. Late apex for the last one.
Oh, a little better.
Nailed it.
Man, this is fun.
I think that'll put you in the top 10 at the Xfinity race.
I got to come try it. Man, I'm going to run here next year. This is great.
It's pretty fun, right?
It is.
That was cool, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for the ride.
That was a good time.
All right, Hinch, that looked like a lot of fun. You've raced here on that racetrack over a dozen times. You taught Dale Jr. some stuff. Teach us all how do you get around this racetrack.
Well, I mean, it's not often you get to try to teach Dale Jr. something. He knows a lot about a lot. But like I was saying in the piece, this place for a driver, it's all about compromise. We have all these switchback configurations, 1 to 2, 5, 6, 7, all the way through 10. So it's always about thinking about the last corner. It's so easy to overdrive the first corner of one of these switchbacks, then you're out of place for the next one, and you lose way more time on exit. So you got to think about not overdriving 1 for 2, not overdriving the entry to 4, and then losing all the way down to 7, not overdriving 7, because that's going to hurt you all the way to 10. And not only that, you got to take care of your tires. All these long, fast corners here is really hard on these tires. You can be fast for a lap, but you got to make it last the whole stint. So there's a lot of tricks to this place.
Man, where were you 30 years ago? I could have used some of that information. Marty, I wish I'd have had him. He'd have made me a lot better at road racing.
Hey, Hinch, I'm curious. I know he's right here, and I know he can hear us, and I don't care. You have to be a little scared riding with Junior. I mean, come on. Drivers are the worst passengers.
Look, traditionally, yes, drivers are terrible passengers, but hey, man, when your driver's Dale Earnhardt Jr., you can sleep a little bit easier the night before. And honestly, he killed it. It was a lot of fun.
You hadn't ridden with him, obviously.
In a rental car, I would say. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I learned so much just in those few laps with Hinch. I'm so grateful for it. It really prepared me for today.
All right, coming up next, let's hear from Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. How did they feel about last week's DQ? Find out next. Thrill of short track racing at Richmond Raceway, the action track, Sunday, August 14th. Get your tickets now at NASCAR.com/tickets. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is special to so many drivers, and you can put Hoosier native Chase Briscoe near the top of that list. Last year, he nearly won the Cup race here at IMS, and this is how it happened.
So Indianapolis, obviously my home race, scared to death that I was on the front row and maybe gonna win my first Cup race.
Hard on the gas, 2 laps to go from Indy.
I remember I didn't get the greatest start. I remember Denny was all but clear, and I told myself, you get ran out of room, just go wide open through the grass.
Oh, Briscoe's in the grass.
And I remember we came down into this corner, and I was already shoving Denny through there.
Briscoe right on his tail.
I gassed it, and as soon as I gassed it, it turned him to the left. And I didn't even think I hit him that hard. Then thought I could maybe give my penalty up because I got told right here, race finishes. I knew Denny was going to be mad. Came down there and started talking to me. Hate confrontation. I was kind of nervous in general just about the whole situation.
My team told me that you had a penalty right away.
It just, the scope of it, I felt like had a lot of people change their thoughts on me as a person, and that part kind of, I think, upset me.
Guys, I think it's safe to say Denny Hamlin has not forgotten that race, has he? Hamlin trying to get back on track this week after last week's win and then subsequent disqualification at Pocono. How does he move forward? Let's find out with Dave Burns.
Well, that's certainly a day that Denny Hamlin will not forget for some of the wrong reasons. I guess looking back to that, all things resolved with Chase, and then is this the kind of place now that you want to get some payback for yourself and go to victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't cause this to spin last year either, but it's just the way it works. It seems, we certainly had a great race last year and had a chance to win, but this year things are different with a new car. Honestly, we've been struggling on road courses, all the Toyotas have, and we're hoping to right that ship today. I think it's going to be baby steps, though. It's going to be certainly, we're trying to incrementally make our speed a little bit better as the season goes.
Denny, last week was one of the most unusual we've seen in NASCAR in recent years. You went home with the trophy and the champagne. I understand the trophy may have made it here this weekend, but didn't go home with the victory. How did you resolve the disqualification, and then why did you choose to have some kind of fun with it?
Well, I mean, if you can't have fun with it, then what are you doing? My Instagram post was, and I gave Chase actually a heads up, say, hey, just don't get offended. I'm gonna have a little fun with this. But certainly from what I saw from the people, they enjoyed it. We were making light of a tough situation for our 11 team. It certainly was tough. It was the biggest and the toughest part was explaining to my kids on the car ride to the airport how we didn't win, because what they just saw was that we won. But it took a long conversation with them, but ultimately, NASCAR made a decision that we've got to live by, and we just hope that, other teams, if ever in that position, show the transparency that Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota did this week.
And the checkered flag, is anyone taking that away?
I told Chase that if you want the checker flag, you're going to have to fight Taylor for it. He conceded the loss on that one.
I think that's a good way to look at it, and I think a good way to look at today is Denny Hamlin will be a factor before today is over.
So we're a week removed from the disqualification. I know that's a frustrating thing. Also, what's the update a week later on the contract situation?
No updates right now. Just a lot of good conversations. Just nice to have support from a lot of different areas and a lot of different places within the garage area, within the industry. So that's positive, but nothing of substance yet.
Kevin Harvick, a champion, a guy you've raced against for a long time, recently just said that he would love to have you as a teammate. What's that mean to you to hear that from a competitor like that?
Well, we've certainly had our differences over the years, that's for sure. But obviously, over time, guys grow up, people grow up. I've grown up, he's grown up. our kids are growing up, right? So, you know, a lot has happened over the years, but he and I respect each other, respect each other's talent. There's a lot of other individuals in this garage area that I've got good relationships with. I wouldn't call them friends. They're all enemies, you know, they're competitors. So, but we at least are cordial with one another. But it's just, again, it's nice to have that reassuring feeling within the garage area, within the industry, from other drivers itself that would be, you know, willing to take on a Kyle and have a Kyle Busch be in their team and help them prosper and get better and to uplift any organization that'd be willing to have me. So again, it's a great feeling and thankful for that, but you know, ready to put that aside for right now and go out here and drive this M&M's Camry as hard as I can to just go out there and get a good finish today.
You seem to be in such good spirits. Does that mean we're closer to knowing where you're racing next year?
Hey man, I'm always in good spirits. It's just a matter of how you catch me, right? But no, I mean, again, it's nice to feel wanted and have some reassurance out there, so that's a positive of it.
I'll take that as a positive mindset for Kyle Busch, and obviously in good spirits even with all that's going on with the contract situation.
Some interesting comments there from Kyle Busch. And Junior, tomorrow's August 1st. I mean, tick-tock, this contract situation is dragging out. But do you sense that the ice might be melting? I mean, he said he wants to stay at Joe Gibbs Racing and that this might get done soon with Kyle Busch and JGR.
Yeah, I think so. I think when this all started, Kyle had sort of a vision of how it might go. It didn't play out that way. You could tell in some of the interviews the frustration and how upset he might be with that this was dragging on, that it had turned the way it turned. And now I think over the last couple of weeks, the reality's setting in of what the options truly are for Kyle. And he's done the homework. He's called around the industry, asking everyone for not only advice, but where they think he should go, what they think he should do, and weighing his options. And I think it's becoming more clear to him exactly what he might need to do. And we've heard some really important things in the last couple of days about what he might do to stay at Gibbs. I think we weren't hearing that 2 weeks ago.
I'll take less money being one of them.
That's
that
right.
Certainly has been a topic, and certainly something, one of the off-track topics we'll be keeping our eye on. So how did two kids who grew up just a few miles apart in Mexico find their way to the top of motorsports in the United States in two totally different series? The story of childhood friends, IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward and Cup Series Daniel Suarez next. Countdown to Green is brought to you by the Sonic Sour Patch Kids Slush Float. Only $2.99 for a limited time at Sonic. Almost time to cap off a triple header weekend from Indianapolis, but DJ, on this crossover weekend, this gets my vote as the coolest moment so far. All the winners from Indianapolis as a two-time Brickyard winner. What did this moment mean to you?
Yeah, it's one of the most incredible opportunities I've had in my professional career. To see that group, be a part of that picture was just amazing. There are 44 wins here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in those 22 that were a part of that. And then asked Mario Andretti to join me in kissing the bricks because obviously his wins came before we started that tradition, and he graciously accepted that offer.
You know, when you add up IndyCar and Cup Series racing, there's only about 60 spots on the grid. So how is it that two kids from Monterrey, Mexico found their way into that small group and realized their racing dreams 1,500 miles from home? Here's the story of how Cup Series driver Daniel Suarez and IndyCar driver Pato O'Ward made it big right here in the USA.
It's been a long time since a Mexican driver drove to victory lane.
Daniel's amigos are out in force here at Sonoma today. Daniel Suarez is going to be the toast of the town.
So we both started racing in El Autódromo, right by the airport.
That's how I met Pato, right there.
Right there. We learned how to drive cars that were slippery. Did you always race with number 4?
Yeah, that was my number.
I remember they called these the Tornado. Because it would lift the wheel when you would turn. So when I was growing up, I didn't start watching the races up until I was 8, 9. The guys that I saw most are actually guys that I'm racing right now, which is Power and Dixon. Yeah.
So that's kind of funny. For me, it was quite different because I never thought I was going to be a race car driver. Once my father asked me that question, he said to me, hey, if you're good enough and if you work hard, you can actually do this at your job.
Well, he was always higher than me, so yeah, he was always on like a higher category than I was. But then you won this, and then you went straight to Xfinity, and you won.
there was a time I would say that we lost a little bit of contact to each other, but I would say that I always knew what he was doing.
Patricio Award from Mexico has won the title.
I think now we root for each other even more because of a friendship. Right now, Mexico, I don't think they've ever had years like what they are currently living right now. Danny in NASCAR being successful, me in IndyCar being successful, and Checo in Formula One. It's cool to see, and especially for us because we grew up in the same place.
You know, Junior, I think the other part of this story is they have created a pathway for so many drivers to say, hey, if they did it, I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel's getting a lot of attention from a lot of race car drivers across the globe. But I think one thing that's key to this is also the next-gen car. How similar it is in components. The independent rear suspension, there's a long list of things that I think makes it more appealing to drivers across the world. So we've kind of moved ourselves a little bit closer. We're in that conversation as a pathway for just about anybody.
Okay, guys, time to go on the clock. 20 seconds to talk about a driver who's caught your eye this weekend. Let's do a non-race winners version. DJ, we'll start with you and Martin Truex Jr. Must-win time for those guys?
100% must win. And in my opinion, I think we're going to have 16 winners at the very least. But I'm going to tell you, other than Martin Truex Jr.'s great talent on the road courses and former wins, they've shown me nothing that tells me that today might be that day. I think they've got a lot of work to do here.
I'm going to go to Kevin Harvick here next. He's absolutely in a must-win situation. Too far back in the points to make this happen. He's got 2 career road course wins, the last one coming in 2017. But he's finished 11th or better in the 3 road course races this year. 4th in Sonoma. Do we look forward to Michigan? He's won 4 out of the last 6 there. Maybe we shouldn't look forward, but he's got a good shot there.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Michael McDowell. Obviously, we know about the 100-point penalty that is pending there with their appeal, but he's a great road racer. So we have 2 more opportunities in that scenario here in Watkins Glen in a few weeks. And then he also is a former Daytona 500 champion. So I think he's got 3 real shots to get a win, but today certainly could put all of that to rest.
Brian Blaney, I don't know if he's in a must-win, but he's in a can-win. He's 15th in points, lost a few points over the last couple weeks to Martin Truex Jr., runner-up here last year. And you remember how he won that race at the Roval in 2018?
Yeah.
Hey, he was there for the opportunity. When things started happening at the end, it could be there. He'll be in the top 5. So if things go down, he could be there in victory lane when it's over.
Last time I checked, only 1 lap counts, the last
right.
one. And that's what he did at the Roval a couple of years ago. I like that line, too. He can win. I like that for Ryan Blaney. When we come back, time for our race-winning predictions. Junior, open up your NASCAR app. Let's get that fantasy lineup set. That's coming up next. Countdown to Green is brought to you by the Sonic Grilled Cheese Double Burger for a limited time only at Sonic. NBC Sports free-to-play game NASCAR Pick'em features a weekly contest for each NASCAR Cup Series race throughout the season. NASCAR Pick'em is available for download now on the NBC Sports Predictor app, powered by PointsBet, available in the App Store and Google Play Store. Hey, DJ, let's check out the PointsBet odds for today. Can you please explain to Junior how this works?
Okay, let's make this as simple as we possibly can. The man has won 3 out of the last 5 races. It's plus 600. So it's simple math. If you put $1 on Chase Elliott today, you're going to get back $6 if he wins the race. If you put 10, he's going to get 60. If you got a little extra change and what about 100, you'd win $600 if Chase wins today.
There you go. Now you understand, Junior.
got it.
I'm surprised Austin Cindric is the favorite. So,
Yeah.
so how do we do? We're gonna reveal our picks. The booth guys out first here. So let's see what everybody picked. All right. There you go. 99. Daniel Suarez.
Yeah.
There's a 9 in there. Look at that. So my Austin Cindric for Jeff Burton. How about that? So Hinch going with low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott. There you go.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So DJ, who did you wind up picking today?
Okay, so I already had this, but Junior just convinced me when he said that the 12 of Ryan Blaney can win. I say he does win today.
Oh, very good. I like that. I think they're going to be really good on long runs. And
Yeah.
if it's hot like this, I think that's going to be a big key today. All right, Junior, who you got?
If you guys want to get your picture with the winning car, we're standing right next to it. All right, it's Tyler Reddick. He's on
Did
the
you
pole.
plan this?
He's on the pole, and he won the last road course race at Road America. It's easy.
Hey, Reddick. Junior just picked you. Junior just picked you to win the race, by the way. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna go with Chase Briscoe. I think Chase Briscoe so quick this weekend.
Yep.
He's got a lot of speed. Can they hang on at the end of a run? And he told me earlier this week. He said, I don't know what it is when I come to Indiana. I just have a little extra motivation. I know he wants to win at his hometown racetrack.
yeah.
He has about 100 friends and family here today, so that's going to be fun to watch. Gorgeous afternoon here at the Brickyard. Perfect summer day. Let's get the pre-race ceremonies underway from Indianapolis.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as joint forces from the Indiana National Guard present our nation's colors. Please welcome Casey Clark from Parkside Bible Church for today's invocation.
Lord God, we thank you today for your kindness towards us in giving us a beautiful day to enjoy the sport of racing. We ask that you would protect the drivers, their crews, and the fans today. And we ask that you would give comfort to the families of the victims in the recent shootings in Greenwood. Finally, Lord, we ask for our country that you would turn hearts to you. May you get the glory in everything done today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, international gospel music recording artist and Indianapolis native, Lamar Campbell.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
On the other side, Rick Allen, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte, and after a quick elevator ride, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Almost time for racing from Indy.
Never cease to amaze me.
He's going to win at Pocono again.
Hell yeah!
With just 5 races before the playoffs, momentum is definitely on the 11-team side.
For the first time since 1960, NASCAR has disqualified a winner.
The rules have tightened up and everyone has to abide by our new rules, which everybody's well aware of.
Indianapolis is a special place, no matter if it's the rectangle or the road course.
Racing inside of that oval is something that gives me a red face every time I drive in.
The challenges are the flat, long, sweeping corners.
You have some very slow technical sections and you have some very, very fast sections as well.
The 14 car spun Hamlin.
It's just throwing Hail Mary.
It's just very hard to get your car to kind of work the way you want it to work there.
The 14 was clearly under penalty for cutting the course. I'm sure you knew it, and then he wrecked you.
It's time for NASCAR Cup Series racing. The Verizon 200 at the Brickyard, the most famous racetrack in the world, built back in 1909, and legends have made themselves even more legendary when they were able to win at this racetrack. Alongside the mayor, Jeff Burton, and our crew chief, Steve Letarte, Rick Allen with you. Jeff, what are the emotions as a driver when you come to such a historic place?
When you walk on this pit road before the race, it's like nothing else. You walk out here and you know the history that was made here. Remember, that history wasn't made here by NASCAR. It was made by another series, and you respect that. You come here as a guest. And this is a place that you want to win at because you have so much respect for what's happened here.
Well, you want to win, Rick, but we're also getting to the point in the regular season where wins are going to matter the most, right? When you look at Chase Elliott, 7 career road course wins. He's won this year, but he hasn't won on the road course. Try to kind of pad that points lead. Try to have a better opportunity to get to the playoffs. But, Jeff, at the back of the playoff leaderboard, 2 other names, Truex and Blaney, they want to get this 0 next to the name off their shoulders to go to victory lane.
And they need to. They're going to make the playoffs. Blaney's a road course winner. You expect him to run up front, ran well yesterday, qualified well. Truex, I have serious concerns. He was the guy that we thought was the road course king. He hasn't seen a top 5 on a road course in over almost a year. So he's starting 25th on top of that. So he's going to have to rally and find a way to get to the front.
And Rick, no matter how good your driver is or your car, you're going to have to call the race correctly. Teams, crew chiefs, everybody has to be on the same plan today.
And everybody right now is on the same plan. It's time to fire the engines. Let's go trackside for the command.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Verizon Crisis Response Manager and volunteer firefighter from Helen, Pennsylvania, Andrew Fusco.
Drivers, start your engines!
Fired up. Fired up when you're ready, Brad.
A.J. Allmendinger won it a year ago. Can he go back-to-back? He won Xfinity yesterday. We're about to find out.
On my mama knee, she said there's only one thing to set your soul free. Wasn't no easy street where I come from. There wasn't no sleep until the work was done. That victory bell, one for the money, to another show. 3, start your engines now and rock and roll.
The motors are running, and the car's starting to roll off of pit road now as we're about to get underway with the second time for the Cup Series and running the road course here at Indianapolis. Take a look at today's starting grid brought to you by Verizon. Up front, Tyler Reddick got his second pole. The 26-year-old out of Corning, California, joined Austin Cindric on the front row, but also has joined Austin Cindric as first-time winners in 2022.
Yeah, back in row 5, Todd Gilliland making his career best start inside the top 10. The North Carolina native excited to get on this road course. You see Denny Hamlin, big news this week, trying to bounce back. He'll be in row 8. Behind him, Indiana's own Justin Haley inside row 9.
A little bit further back in the lineup, Ross Chastain. He's already won at a road course this year at COTA earlier, and Kyle Larson will be on his outside, the reigning Cup Series champion.
Yeah, we have an F1 racer in the field. Dan Kvyat back there in row 18. 110 F1 starts, 3 podiums in his career. He's jumped over and going to join the NASCAR crowd here this weekend.
Indiana native Chase Briscoe behind the wheel of the number 14, and we want to dial him up on the radio, Jeff.
Hey, Chase, it's Burton, you got us?
I got you, buddy.
Man, we've watched you win an Xfinity race here, run very well in the Cup car also. Tell us what's so important, what's the most important part of this racetrack?
Yeah, I think just trying to keep your tires underneath you. It seems like you definitely have quite a bit of fall off here, just keeping the rears, not only from a four drive standpoint, but even laterally. So a lot of high-speed corners where you really need that, but then you got to have it for the slow-speed stuff to get back going. So hopefully I can save them good today. Be there at the end of these long runs, because it seems like that's typically where it pays off.
Well, you have a lot of friends and family here today. How important would it be to you to win this race?
Yeah, I mean, it'd mean everything. I mean, for me, I rank this right there with the Daytona 500. Just from a personal standpoint, I think every race car driver wants to win Indianapolis, but whenever it's your home track, you got a ton of friends and family here, it's even more special. Just the whole state of Indiana, I feel like it's fine. They're Indiana drivers. So it'd be nothing cooler than winning here. I've been able to win here once, but there was no fans here. So definitely want to win there with fans, and be nothing better than winning in the Cup race.
Well, good luck, man. We want to come to the party if you do win.
Heck yeah, it should be a good one. Appreciate it, guys.
It would definitely be a great one with Chase Briscoe. And Rutledge Wood has been giving us a view of different areas around the racetrack, and we've been very lucky. So we will check in with Rutledge Wood and his city view currently at Sarah Fisher Racing.
That's right. Rick, I know y'all are about to take the green flag there at the big track, but here at Speedway Indoor Karting, owned by Sarah Fisher, former IndyCar driver, and her husband. They've been racing all week long. We've seen team members, crew members here to get on the road course, even the oval slick track. If you're not lucky enough to qualify for one of the races at the big track, come on down here to Speedway, just off of Main Street, and you can do a little racing your own, buddy.
Appreciate that, Rutledge. And our own Parker Kligerman yesterday was in a fire suit as the driver in the Xfinity Series. He's switched over and now on pit road for us. Parker?
Right, Rick. And what does it mean to win here at Indy? Well, when you're named after four-time Indy 500 champion A.J. Foyt, which is a case for A.J. Allmendinger, after winning last year, he got to be a part of a photo yesterday morning with all these past legends and winners at Indy. He told me, I didn't feel like I belonged there. But when the photo got done, he went over to A.J. Foyt and said, can I have a personal photo? A.J. obliged. He told me that photo is the most meaningful personal photo he's had in his entire life. He'll start 20th today, trying to make it back-to-back, Dave.
That's really cool, Parker. Hey, as good as Chase Elliott is on the road courses, 7 of his 17 wins have come on tracks like these. There's always something to learn. He leaves the pit box just now. His spotter tells him, when you get over to the commitment line, I'm going to show you where the orange commitment box is, because somebody blew that yesterday, and if you blow it today, you can be penalized and lose all the gain you've made on the day, Marty.
Dave, the off-track news a couple of weeks ago was Tyler Reddick leaving for 2311 Racing from RCR in 2024. Randall Burnett, his crew chief, told me after that there were certainly some hurt feelings in our race shop, but since then we have really put it behind us as a race team. And he had a meeting with his team a few weeks ago and said, listen, we're all professionals. Some of you guys on this team were here when Kevin Harvick left, when Clint Boyer left. We can get past this as a race team. And since then, Rick, they have been very focused, and they are terrific at road course races. 3 of the last 4 races, Tyler Reddick has finished inside the top 5 on the pole for the second time today, trying to get his second Cup win.
Definitely focused on getting back to victory lane for Tyler Reddick, but what will they have to do? They'll have to take on this 14-turn road course. And Junior, Jeff, you guys take us around here. Junior, you're out there with Hinch yesterday.
Yeah, getting down into turn 1 on restarts. They're going to be 3, 4, 5 wide, trying to funnel down into turn 1, getting pushed off into the grass. A lot of contact right through that corner. Also coming around turn 4 is going to be interesting. A blind apex there. Expect to see some guys miss that as well.
Then it leads into turn 7, a heavy braking zone, an opportunity to pass, and then a much slower section. You got to use a lot of patience through 10 and 11. That leads to 12. A lot of braking issues in 12 with sliding left front tires.
Turn 14, on to the front straightaway, really important. Possibly setting up passings down into turn 1.
Well, you guys talked about the track itself. We just heard Dave report about that orange box coming to pit road. So right here at the top of your screen, that's turn 13, a left-hander. But if you're going to come to pit road, you're going to go swing in a little further. You're going to come down this area here. So if we zoom in a little bit, you're going to see that entry, and then it comes to the left. Go as fast as you want on that pit entry until pit road speed line. This is the yellow line right here. We have it every other racetrack. A lot of time can be gained getting onto pit road, Rick. Kind of the same way on exit. We know the very historic long pit lane here at Indianapolis. Well, when you leave, you cross that yellow line, and then it's hammered down as fast as you can go to the right of turn 1. Inside that curbing, inside that white line, blend over in turn 2. This is a big conversation because these road courses, we expect to see a lot of green flag pit stops. Dave mentioned it. A lot of people had issues with that orange box coming on the pit road yesterday.
And if you have seen the Indianapolis 500, you know that the cars go around this racetrack normally counterclockwise, but not on the road course. The road course is a clockwise motion around this track, and so that's a situation that these teams and drivers will have to deal with, like you had mentioned. A few more stories before the green flag flies. Let's go back to pit road.
Well, Rick, it's been no secret this year that the Toyotas have struggled on the road courses. But then yesterday, Christopher Bell lit up the timesheets, being in the top 5 for most of practice and obviously into qualified fourth. And he told me, man, we've been so bad, it was gratifying to have the speed. I asked his team, where do you feel like you found a lot of that speed? And they said, in the brake zones. We saw a lot of time gained under the brakes. Christopher Bell doing a great job in those brake zones. Keep an eye on that 20 car in the brake zones, Dave.
Ross Chastain will be in the number 1 for Trackhouse Racing as always today. And you'll recall that his first career win was on the very technical Circuit of the Americas, COTA, where he won earlier this year. Ran this race yesterday in the Xfinity Series and ran it in a very traditional Ross Chastain style. A lot of beating and banging, let me by, I'm coming through, and finished 4th. Good laps for him yesterday. Ross expects to do well today, Marty.
Dave, thanks to Ford Performance, we'll get to ride on board with Austin Cindric today, who certainly will be a threat for the win this afternoon. He starts second. He is terrific at these road courses. One thing not in his favor, he doesn't have 2 pit crew members. He doesn't have his crew chief, Jeremy Bullins. They left a wheel loose at New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago. This is the second race Jeremy Bullins is sitting out. But he told me earlier this week, more importantly, it's the crew members that are gone. Steve, you know what that's like. You don't have your jack man. You don't have that tire changer. That's what really affects things in a track position race. Could that be a factor for Austin Cindric on pit road today?
That's a great point, Marty. Yeah, the crew chief, he could do his job, maybe even a better job. Oh, wait, Rick, he's sitting in a nice, calm, air-conditioned location with his computer out, calling the strategy, but you need to have those pit crew members to get the tires changed.
Want to take a look at the playoff standings. Again, just 5 races, including this one, until the playoffs begin. That means 5 opportunities for a driver that's not currently in the yellow to win and get in this playoff standing picture. Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr. right now in on points, but the possibility of one of these drivers that are either not yellow or below that cutoff line winning their way into the playoff picture definitely looming, especially over the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. All right, Michael McDowell, always good on the road courses. Let's listen into his radio.
All right, boys. Got 5 weeks. Got 1 goal to get a W. It's the only thing that matters. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's do it today so we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the 4 weeks here.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just get right to the point.
Steve, how many stops is the winner going to make today? What are your options?
Well, when you look at this race and you start to break it down, it's an 82 lap race. So it's a minimum of 2 pit stops. The first stage very quick, it's only 15 laps long. The second stage a little bit longer at 20 laps, then a long final stage. So I think you're going to see strategy all over the board. We'll keep you up to date on what everybody's doing, but 2 stops minimum for fuel. It really just depends on how important you think those Goodyear tires are.
A year ago, A.J. Allmendinger stopped 4 times, but he also wouldn't have won the race if the 11 and the 14 wouldn't have got off track. Leading the field with some unique views. That was the Coca-Cola pace car cam that we were looking at there. And now the field back into the hands of the front row and Tyler Reddick, the 26-year-old that is leading the field to the green flag at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard. About to get underway. Reddick, Cindric, into the gas, green flags in the air.
Great restart for that left lane. On your screen, Tyler Reddick, way clear. Looking through the middle. A lot of 3 wide, 4 wide, back in the back, 5 wide. Oh, contact, the 31's going around.
Already. Around goes that 31, straightened back out again. And so Justin Haley, not the start he was looking for, but he probably wasn't expecting 5 wide.
Well, you can expect it here. It's going to happen all day long. He started 17th. He's got a lot of ground to make up now. A tough break, tough way to start the race.
Down into 7th, still some more cars trying to outbreak. 3 wide here. 22 Logano on the inside of Christopher Bell.
This is a very slow, technical part of the racetrack. This is turn 11 that they're approaching. Very difficult braking zone into turn 12. We see a lot of right front tire lockup right here and some flat spots. Got to be really smart.
Look at Hamlin, way deep early, 3 wide. Didn't work out.
2 rookies outside of him here. Harrison Burton in that Dex 21.
This leads to the front straightaway, so you got to get this thing sorted out. If you don't get a good launch off of this corner, it leads to the front straightaway, and this is a great passing opportunity.
First lap complete. Tyler Reddick holding on, and now, yeah, we've got a battle for second as Briscoe has taken that spot away from Austin Cindric. So Cindric trying to hang on, though, as he thunders back on the inside of that turn.
Yeah, that was impressive, making that outside work in turn 2. Oh, we got another car around. Ross Chastain has spun his car around. Contact with him.
Loris Hesselman in the 27 was also involved there. Some contact.
Oh, car off track. Denny Hamlin way back. He's spinning out.
Denny Hamlin goes around. Straightens back out, and we stay green. This was the start of the race. You saw how Haley got spun around.
Yeah, just 5 wide getting in the corner on the start of the race. Nowhere for everybody to go. Just real aggressive.
This is more contact that spins Chastain around. The 17 of Buescher and the 23 of Bubba Wallace getting together there. And Denny gets off track here. Looks like he's got it under control. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, car just goes around. Wow.
And all that work that the drivers put in qualifying, Steve, all that work is now gone. Those guys that lost track position, now they got to go try to find it again.
Yeah, now the crew chiefs are going to alternate strategies, plan B, C, D. First of all, make sure you have no damage on your race car, and then start working on how you can try to find a way to give some positions back to your driver as we see the field heading down into turn 1, the hard right-hander, as we get 1 car on pit road, the 31 of Haley. Dave.
And Steve, if Denny had had anything to tell his crew chief, Chris Gabard, he would have just told him, because as you know, this place is so big. Coming down the front straightaway is the clearest radio communication you can have. But he didn't tell Chris anything. When Chris and I talked just a few minutes ago, he said it's about where I put my driver when. That car just doesn't look right now.
Yeah, something's wrong with the 11. He got into Eric Almirola, and actually that helped him stay on track.
I want to say the way he spun out through this little back and forth switchback of 5 and 6 the lap before was just so puzzling. Looked like he had the car under control, had gotten off track, and then out of nowhere, the car goes around.
We've seen a lot of tire lockups too. Tons of smoke in these braking areas.
Can I just say that was an eventful 3 laps? I mean,
it ain't over. I think it's still eventful.
It shows you how important track position is. Right off the start of this race, an 82-lap race, you got to get it, you got to keep it, and just the aggression early. Look at the 7 of LaJoie sideways.
This is in the back of the pack, and these guys are racing hard. We don't often see just how hard and intense the racing is back in the back half of the field. Maybe harder, more mistake-prone than in the front of the field.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that 47, just behind the 11 of Denny Hamlin, putting a lot of pressure on Hamlin.
And Hamlin missing every corner. He's struggling with that car.
Comes Chase Briscoe, and he's getting a little bit of pressure now from Christopher Bell here in the Toyota as we ride along with the Toyota on board.
And you saw him slide a little tire there as well.
Really, Briscoe's struggling just a little bit here.
2 different entries there to turn 4. One real shallow, one real wide.
No setback out back to 34. No pressure.
Great shot of the driver and what he has to do there as we look back on Christopher Bell.
You can really use a lot of curb there, basically cutting the entire apex of turn 10. And it's flat over there. It's not rough. There's actually more grip if you put the right sides really on the inside of that curb of 10.
Bell was pressuring Briscoe, but now about a car length separate these 2 cars, Marty.
Rick Chase Briscoe sitting in third. His car was so good on the front end of the run yesterday. So much speed to start off with. They made changes overnight, and they kind of felt like maybe those changes might take a little bit of front end speed away, but it would really help them at the end of the run, which could be key today. Meanwhile, a little further back, Daniel Suarez sitting in the 7th position. His helmet hose, as Bell tries to get that third spot, won't be able to make that move. Helmet hose for Daniel Suarez actually blowing in hot air inside the helmet. So, Jeff, how much of a distraction is that? In fact, Daniel said, if I lift my visor, it's cooler than it is with a helmet hose blowing in that hot air.
That is not good on a day like today. It is very hot outside today, much hotter than it was yesterday. That's going to make this race that much more challenging. You need a little bit of cool air coming into you. Denny Hamlin, of course. Dave.
Look at that. Wow, Denny is just having such a struggle with that 11 car right now. When he had that chance to make clear communication this time down the front straightaway, really, really loose. That was all he said, and apparently it's really, really difficult to drive.
Yeah, the 11 car, remember in practice, lots of lockups from Denny in practice the other day. Had a lot of problems trying to figure out how to get this car to slow down. Seems like they haven't really been able to improve the ability for him to perform as well in the braking zones.
He missed turn 1 completely. He was coming out of the, actually it's a penalty area. If you miss that turn, you have to go down that area. That's how he got back on track.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I had no idea where he was at. Trying to regroup and regain here some composure, get in a rhythm. It's tough to do.
Well, he started 15th. He's running 34th now, lap 5. I mean, that's a terrible start, and as hard as a driver, I think this is where the crew chief comes in, Steve. Get him calmed down a little bit, get refocused.
Yeah, this is all about composure, right? 10 laps to go in the first stage. Listen, just run 10 calm laps. Give me great feedback on the car. We're going to pit at the end of this stage, make big adjustments, and then race our own race. Only more damage can be done here in the next 10 if we panic.
A fascinating start to the Brickyard here for the Cup Series. Yeah, wild ride already for the 11th. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Verizon. 5G from the network more people rely on. Credit One Bank, a credit card company. And by Toyota. Let's go places. And Brad Keselowski just went off track in turn 1. He was running in the 14th position. Now Keselowski is back running 26th after getting it back on track. You got a couple cars right here, and one also around.
Ross Chastain.
Yeah,
Ross Chastain tried to get down into turn 1. Out braking the 15 on the inside. Heavy contact with the left front of the 1 car.
Joey Hand in the 15 car.
Here's the replay. Look how far back he is. He knows he can't get the car slowed down, so he's trying to avoid just hitting anything. But at one point, there's going to be a car coming through your path, and here's Brad Keselowski going into turn 1 as well.
Underneath Kyle Busch and just carrying way too much speed, trying to get the car slowed down, get the rear tires locked up, and around he went.
I don't know if I'm baffled or laughing or what I'm watching here. Well, these are the best stock car drivers in the world. Brad Keselowski just missed turn 1 by 30 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Busch basically just checked up. He's like, go ahead, buddy. You just spin past me, and I'm going to turn in.
Kyle's probably laughing.
Oh, Kyle Busch is absolutely
till it happens to him. Yeah. That was pretty hard contact for Ross with that left front tire into the door of the 15 there in turn 1.
What have all these people had for breakfast, Rick? They've lost their mind.
I just think that the braking performance on this car is so good that when you try to get a little more, you're just asking yourself, you're just putting yourself in a position to make a mistake. They're all trying to out-brake each other, as they tend to do with these road courses. And with the braking performance deep into the braking zone here, there's not much more you can get.
We've seen a lot of mistakes early in this one. Only 8 laps have been completed. So we're on lap number 9 right now with 7 to go in the first stage.
Yeah, if we just set a camera on turn 1, we'd see somebody make a mistake through that corner every lap.
Reddick's not having any problems. He's out front just rolling. 2-second lead on Cindric. There you see it.
Like Cindric's closing the gap just a little bit. Parker.
Guys, as we're seeing all this action on track and cars slipping and sliding all over the racetrack, and I'm listening to some of the radios, a lot of drivers fighting drive off and braking issues. I can't help but think, just feeling out here, that it is hotter than yesterday in practice. We know how finicky this car can be and how sensitive is just to small changes. I just got a track temp from one of the teams down here. It's 115 degrees is what they're saying the track temp is right now. I don't know the exact difference yesterday, but my stealth barometer tells you it's definitely hotter, and I just have to think it could just be a hotter, slicker racetrack that they weren't exactly prepared for here today, Marty.
And Parker, I'll go one step further. Jeff, you know this racetrack probably the most weather-sensitive racetrack on the entire NASCAR circuit. So when it gets hot and sunny like this, it gets really slick almost immediately. I'm going to read a few driver comments. No grip, no grip, no grip, no lateral grip. Need more rear grip. I mean, that's what all the drivers are saying. It's vastly different from yesterday in practice. Just hot and sunny and slick.
Yeah, Marty, this racetrack has always been sensitive to heat, but look how flat the road course is. There's no banking anywhere. It's just perfectly flat. So no banking to help support the car as you transition through the corners. And that always helps so much. And just look at it. There's absolutely no banking whatsoever, Parker.
And Jeff, I just got confirmation today's track temp 25 degrees hotter than yesterday during practice and qualifying. So that's a major difference for these teams, obviously, to be setting these cars up for.
The other issue with the track being so flat that you mentioned, Jeff, is it's hard to see the apex of the corner. Basically, get down into turn one. The only thing telling you that there's a corner coming are the braking signs on the right, hung on the fence, and this tiny little curve way off in the distance on the inside of the turn. Other than that, like that banking would tend to allow you to see the racetrack and understand how close you were getting, the perception of the depth perception of the racetrack. But with this flat track, being able to see apexes is nearly impossible. And that's why a lot of drivers maybe miss the braking zones. They're going to get better as the day goes, but a lot of mistakes early on.
This group coming up on 12.
You see the damage on the one car, the body beaten up a little bit. Pushed in, the splitter. He's going to pit road.
And clears that orange square that everyone was worried about yesterday. So Ross Chastain comes to pit road early here on lap 11. Dave.
Rick, he's not been doing a lot of complaining about that race car, so is this a strategy move? If you take the 72 laps remaining, 36 apiece, one more stop or probably a couple of stops based on tire wear? We shall see, but need to get a look at this car just to make sure nothing is rubbing on it. He'll take on 4 fresh Goodyear tires to get a full fill of Sunoco fuel and give Phil Surgeon, his crew chief, some options from here on out. Yeah, they're going to take a good long look at that left front.
You see, I think they tried to put the tire on. They decided to take it back off. You know, make sure your damage is fixed. You shouldn't lose a lap here. We see on the top right, you see the track map, the leader, the 8 of Reddick, is coming into turn 13 now.
Calling for the saw. They made it. Nope, they're going to leave it.
Well, I think the one's going to lose a lap at this point because he's still on pit road, and here comes Reddick off the final corner. But, you know a stage end is coming. The only concern for the one at Chastain is that Justin Haley is also 1 lap down, so it won't be an automatic free pass as we see the leader, right-hand side of your screen heading into turn 1. Left-hand side of your screen was the one of Chastain losing a lap.
4 still to go in stage 1, and out front, Tyler Reddick has over a 2-second lead over Austin Cindric. The young guys are showing the veterans how to make their way around this road course at Indianapolis.
Try to keep track position.
Yeah, they're going to give up stage points here, Steve, and what would have been a playoff point for Tyler Reddick, who right now is in the playoffs. So an interesting move. And you also see left-hand side of your screen, Chase Briscoe staying out. They're now going to run and get those points, and if they can get that playoff point, win the stage, because they need every point they can get with that 14 car. No surprise, Tyler Reddick very happy with the race car. No complaints, Parker.
Right, Christopher Bell picks out a 4th position here, just loose in the left-handers, but very happy in that race car. In the right-handers here, just an air pressure for him.
And you see Austin Cindric on pit road here. He's coming in, ran second that entire stage. No complaints from Cindric either, getting his 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So a handful staying out there, Steve, to gather those stage points, which they'll need maybe later to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's all priority. If you want a chance to win the race, the goal is to pit here before the end of the stage. Chase Briscoe, though, staying on the racetrack is by design. You know, he has won this year. He feels he's going to make the playoffs, so he wants that all-important playoff point. And if he can stay out front with 2 laps to go, he should have really no problem picking it up.
And he just ran over something there in turn 9 and 10. There's a little piece of debris on the racetrack. I think it's one of those little mud flaps that come off the back of the car. I don't know if that should bother him, but
yeah, a little piece of plastic. I don't think that would cut a tire.
Yeah.
We're riding along with highpoint.com cam there for Chase Briscoe. Again, Briscoe staying out. Now, Steve, with 1 lap to go in this stage, does he come at the end of the stage break to pit road, or would he stay out and maybe wait until you go back green in stage 2 to come to pit road?
That's a real interesting discussion, Rick, because I think at this point, winning the stage is crystal clear, and then I can make an argument staying on the racetrack, keep that track position. The real question is, how bad is this car handling? You'd have to run about 15 more laps on these old tires, so we're going to have to see. But the first trick is to run all 14 corners without an issue. It hasn't been an issue for Briscoe, but it's been an issue for enough other drivers that nothing is guaranteed today.
Right out in front of Briscoe, I believe, is the Heston's car, number 27, and that's important. That's an important piece of information, because if he laps him for whatever reason, I don't think he'll get there, but Ross Chastain's sitting in position to be able to get the free pass. And so that's something to watch as we finish this lap here. I don't think Chase will catch the 27, but
Ross is counting on getting that free pass to get back on the lead lap after a very long stop to work on the 1 after there was damage done in turn 1. Little technical spot of the track here is Chase Briscoe winding down this last lap of stage 1.
15 laps, Rick. You got it all figured out. We got half the field pitted, half the field hasn't. I think half the field is spun out.
That's why I sit next to you, Steve, to make sure that you'll tell me all the strategies that are going to work. Well, that's the stage 1 win, and it goes to Chase Briscoe, his 3rd career stage win. All of them have come this year. Ryan Blaney, another driver looking for points, currently in that 15th position in the playoffs. William Byron, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott rounding out the top 5 with Gilliland, Larson, Kyle Busch, Harrison Burton, and Martin Truex Jr. all rounding out the top 10. Chase Elliott, eventful turn 1 for him. Like everybody else, it seems like turn 1 has been very difficult. Elliott goes around. Briscoe, the Indiana native, wins stage 1. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. Verizon, 5G from the network more people rely on. And download America's loved free-to-play slots app. Visit goldfish-racing.com. You're watching the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard, along with all the folks here on the grass, enjoying this one as well. And once again, with Rut City View, we get to take a peek at different areas around the racetrack. Let's go to one of my favorite places to see Rut. He's at a brewery.
That's right. You know, I asked our friend James Hinchcliffe, what's a spot that I can't miss? And he told me, when there's 40 Daredevils on the track, you head to Daredevil Brewing. Take a look at this amazing place. It was started in 2012, moved here in 2015 to a 10,000 square foot facility. This is an award-winning brewery, great place to watch a race. Try James's favorite, the Liftoff Brewery. And you can tell, guys, with the Daredevil up there in the sky at 9% alcohol by volume, you'd be flying high too. What a great spot here in Speedway, Indiana, guys.
What I love about coming to this racetrack, it's in Speedway, Indiana, which is really surrounded by Indianapolis.
Yeah, I just wanted to let Rut know we're on floor 9 of the Pagoda, Rut. Floor 9. You can
delivery. Does he deliver?
So you're asking earlier about what these guys were going to do. Briscoe, who won stage 1, Blaney second, Byron, Logano, Elliott. You know, I really believe at this point you're going to continue to stay on the racetrack, run farther enough into this next stage to only have to pit one time. That's a great idea for track position. The risk, if you do that, is you are going to restart on the oldest tires. So this is going to be the choice for the driver and the crew chief. We're going to see very quickly here what everyone thinks about fresh Goodyear tires. Would they rather have track position or tires that will be the decision as these teams come around turn 12 and 13 and have to decide to pit.
Race leader Chase Briscoe will be first to make the decision, and he is coming to pit road.
There you go. So they believe that fresh tires are more important than track position. They just thought that that stage 1 points that they filled their bucket up with was a priority. Starting to kind of get a little glimpse on the decisions of some of these crew chiefs and engineers on pit road.
Guys, Chase Elliott to his crew about that spin over the curb. He said, did I damage the car? I probably did. And then he was told, no, you probably did not. So the 9 car should be good there. He did want a little bit better handling on it. They're going to make a little bit of an adjustment, not necessarily for the exit of the turns, but for braking. Needs more rear grip in the 9 car, Marty.
Dave, to Steve's point, crew chiefs, this is what they think about fresh tires. It's also what they think about the handling of the race car, right? So Joey Logano not very happy with his, says they absolutely no rear grip, and also said it feels like I don't have as good a rear brakes as I should have in that 22 car. He finished 3rd in that first stage, actually finished 2nd in that first stage, so nice run for him. And then the 14 car, Chase Briscoe, that playoff point in the bank for Chase Briscoe. It said they needed more lateral grip for that. They got the playoff point, but now they give up all that track position. It's going to be interesting to see how they can come back up through the field.
He was able to hang on as far as coming onto pit road first, getting off pit road first. Logano onto pit road second and off pit road second, so losing no spots. Stage 1 is done. Stage 2 about to get underway. NASCAR Drive is your live race day companion. You can select from alternate camera angles and customize your viewing experience with multiple camera views. Visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app today. Looking down on this beautiful facility in Indianapolis. Aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. Yes, that's a golf course. A few holes are on the inside of the racetrack. And a little bit further away from that golf course is pit road, and Dave Burns is there.
And Chris Buescher is here, Rick, and he has a dirty job. His job is to drive this race car no matter what. When he came down to pit road, it was on fire. They put the fire out. When he went back out, he agreed that the fire was no longer there. And so when he had this opportunity to pit, what'd they do? Well, they blew out the whole interior of the car because there was a lot of smoke damage in there. Where's Chris? Still in the driver's seat. What a guy. He sat there. Now he does have a hose to his to his helmet, so hopefully he's getting some fresh air there. But as he's sitting there, they're trying to blow all this out so Chris can not only see, but he has some of that smoke out of there. Coming back to pit road now. Now, Steve, help me with this. On the accident that he had with the 23 on track, Bubba Wallace's car got into the door of the 17, pushed some things around. What's the hottest part of the car underneath?
Yeah, the exhaust.
That's right. And so push part of that, you can see the damage there, toward the door foam, which can catch fire. And according to the team, this may be how it all got started.
I would be shocked because I've always been informed that the door foam cannot catch fire, that it was fire safe. That's why it was inside these race cars. So if that did catch fire, I think NASCAR is really going to ask themselves how it happened. We're going to have to follow up on the Paul Harvey's going to have to come out on this one. Well, we're going to get the whole rest of the story later.
And as you know, they will all go to that and make sure that it wasn't the foam, that it was something that maybe surprised them. But again, things got pushed around in positions they shouldn't be in the race car.
Yeah, I was shocked to see when I saw the fire. I thought it would have been a fuel issue. On the left-hand side, though, look at the leaders. We have 4 cars that have yet to come to pit road, and then all those guys 12 and 13. That whole group headed before the green. If we can rotate to the next page, you're going to see Chase Briscoe, the winner of stage 1. He's right here in 21st. So the first car that pitted after the yellow will start outside the top 20. The entire field has been flipped upside down. And for the front 4 cars, old tires versus track position. I don't feel great about it, Rick. After seeing the start of the race, we'll see if it works out for Blaney, Byron, LaJoy, and Brad Kay.
We already know how difficult that turn 1 is as the field approaching the Geico restart zone. And stage 2 is underway. Four, 5 wide again, 6 wide. Back there further.
No one's made you 3 wide yet. Your corner.
This is crazy. I can't believe. Oh no!
And around goes
the
off
4,
the front
Harvick.
of the Ty Gibbs. It's Harvick.
Oh my gosh.
Car through the grass. Looked like maybe the 9 of Chase Elliott. Harvick gets straightened back out again. And now the field strings out as they head to 7.
Harvick's got his car rolling.
So many people change positions right there with cars. Hamlin stopped in the middle of the racetrack. Harvick stopped.
Oh, more contact right there. The 34-42. The 20 is the beat of the sandwich. Oh, man, they can fight around the outside of these corners. You wouldn't see the old car do that. So battle on the outside of these switchbacks.
And Junior Jeff, I'm asking the question now, are these guys getting more comfortable with the carbon fiber bodies or these composite bodies where they feel like they could just lay on another car?
It's just an opportunity on these restarts. You know how difficult it is to pass. Competition is so tough. They're right there in front of you. That's the opportunity to go get spots, and everybody is willing to put themselves in a difficult position and put others in a difficult position.
I'd say yes, Rick, but I'd replace carbon fiber bodies with toe link. Because the toe links were breaking on this thing left and right at the start of the season. Now they're beefy enough. And look at this here. Oh, man. 4 wide for Harvick. Austin Dillon's like checking up, trying not to touch him. But they just funnel down into a space where they can't fit. Look at all, bam, bam, bam. Watch this. Austin checks up, but it's just too late. Listen to the throttle. Oh, Denny, big contact. Oh, man.
Alex Bowman, big damage on the front of the 48. He's on pit road.
Yeah, that flat left front, he's driven it around, running on that flat tire. We're getting ready to see what exactly can get drug off a car, because he's run almost a whole lap, Dave, on a flat tire.
Grinding the left front of that car down. Here comes Alex Bowman. A run yesterday in the Xfinity Series to get experience here, and told me today that he thought that he would have a decent shot at a road course, good finish for him at a time when they really need that. Of course, in on 1 win this year, so into the playoffs, but 4 tires here to get him back on and repair the damage.
It's going to be a laundry list of incidents over the course of the race. We are only, 20 laps into the whole race. Let's take a look right here. The left front of the 48 just goes down. He was in that big stack up early. I think it was already low on air, and now this is going down to turn 7 with a flat tire.
That was a good job where he didn't decide to go through 7. He actually turned on an access road on the inside of 7, avoiding contact with anybody there.
Yeah, and he leaves pit lane. He's going to be just out in front of the leaders. So if he can stay in front of the leaders, that will salvage his opportunity. But we're getting ready to find out.
Marty, how about Ryan Blaney in that 12?
Yeah, let's talk about Ryan Blaney not pitting. Jonathan Hassler making that call. That was one of the plays he could have made today. So, Steve, you got to remember, they're one of 2 teams in the playoffs right now, simply on points, without a win so far this year. So Hassler making this move to get those points, number 1. And then also you can connect it from the start of the race to 3 to go in the stage. There's already 14 to go here in stage 2. So all he's got to do is run another 12 laps here, and Blaney can cut out a stop in this race. So you agree with this move from Jonathan Hassler to keep Blaney out and only try and get 2 stops here today?
I instantly had strategy remorse when they were 4 wide down into turn 1 in row 5. I was concerned about these old tires because drivers have talked about how much they've been slipping and sliding. In the 7 of LaJoie, he's fallen back to 11th now, so he's losing a few spots. The 6 of Keselowski in 5th also stayed on the racetrack, doing a fine job. But for the 12 of Blaney and the 24 of Byron, 1st and 2nd currently, this is going to work out really, really well. Even if Byron loses 2 or 3 spots, first of all, no damage. I mean, if you go back there what did the spotters say? You're not 3 wide yet. So he just knows you're going to be 3 wide on his restarts. So these guys not only should find some track position, but more importantly, have a relaxing stint. Like every single fuel run can't be a fight. And it's a lot easier in 1st and 2nd. How about
in this battle? You can see that Cindric, these are the first 2 guys on tires. These are the first guy on 4 tires. When all this started, that 8 car, remember, he led the early part of the race. Cindric has got in front of him. So in their mind, this is the race for the lead. And there will be a fierce battle right here between Reddick and Cindric.
Right now, Cindric is leading that battle between the 2. Let's go to the guys on pit road with DJ and Hinch.
And Rich, I'll tell you what, I have to say that might have been the craziest first 15 laps of a race that I've ever seen anywhere. You kind of set it up in the pre-race show. It's a home racetrack, and it proved to be that for these guys.
It really is, man. No matter what kind of race car you're driving here, stock cars, Indy cars, sports cars, this is a brake energy, high energy racetrack. It's really hard on the brakes, so you got to be easy on the brakes. We've seen all sorts of problems down into turn 1 with the 6, the 9. We saw it with Bubba Wallace at the start there. It is so easy to not only overdo it, to lock up a tire and flat spot it. And you've got to take care of these tires. We talked about it. This track's hard on them anyway, and locking them up under braking is just making it that much harder. But I'll tell you, he's doing a great job taking care of his tires is Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, he really is. And Rick, we'll send it back to you, but this is as highly entertaining of action that we've seen here.
I think I have the luxury of being able to watch Steve, and Steve keeps scratching his head and going, what is going on the racetrack right now with some of these guys? As Blaney is smoking the tires there, and William Byron will challenge him. You're watching the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. Download America's loved free-to-play slots app. Visit goldfish-racing.com. The 5 of Kyle Larson on pit road. They're doing some extensive work to the right front of that, Parker.
Right, Rick, he had contact with what could be believed to be the 10 of Eric Almirola there at some point. Had to drag this car around the racetrack all through turns 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 back there, but the right front was completely disconnected. You see here the replay down into turn 1. Oh, there's Eric Almirola getting to the right side of Kyle Larson. That obviously hurt the right front suspension. The team's trying to fix it right now.
Yeah, a lot of damage there to the 10. We see the right front of the 5. It's locked up. Wheel turned the wrong way. And still Blaney's out front by 0.6 of a second over William Byron. Tyler Reddick has moved up to the 3rd spot. Austin Cindric 4th. AJ Allmendinger is 5th. Remember, different strategies for the top 5 right now. Ryan Blaney, William Byron have not been to pit road yet. Reddick and Cindric and Allmendinger all came on lap 13. Allmendinger was 12. Keselowski on a different strategy. He hasn't come to pit road yet. He's running in the 6th position.
Steve, we saw this in practice. The tires actually getting a little bit quicker as those guys went out and ran. So the longevity or the tire life and the lack of fall off definitely has changed some of these guys' strategy. Don't you think going in this race, they were up in the air as far as tire fall off and how that might affect them in the decision they make to come to pit road?
Absolutely. The question is, could you get enough fuel mileage to do it in only 2 pit stops? If not, that means you have to work in 3 pit stops, which then means you have extra laps kind of to play with. So where do you want the freshest tires? And right now, it would seem that clean air and track position is way more valuable than fresh tires. As we documented Blaney and Byron, but even Brad Keselowski, we saw him go through the grass once today, and here he is riding around in the 6th position comfortably. Parker.
Well, guys, we get a look here at Kevin Harvick, who was spun after that last restart. We've seen those big rushes down to turn 1, and as we see AJ Allmendinger now off the racetrack, somewhere around here, I can't even exactly tell exactly. Oh, we got more spun out here.
Harrison turn 1 is around. Allmendinger, who was running in the 5th position, was off track. 41 of Cole Custer off track.
And Allmendinger got out of the sand. What a nice job. I didn't know with the low profile tire if that thing was going to bury in the sand or not.
We saw that in the IndyCar race. The IndyCar guys getting through. They really have the sand here manicured really nicely to be able to allow those guys the opportunity to get through there if they have to bail into the sand.
We talk about drivers and how upset they get and the notes they keep on the other drivers as the race progresses. Well, my notebook's full right now because I'm mad at a ton of people at the moment. I've been pushed around, shoved around. Let's see what happened to AJ Allmendinger right here, just pushing hard, trying to make something happen, drives off track, keeps it going.
That's turn 3, heading into turn 4. He just kind of puts the right rear or the right sides into the grass.
And then right here, Harrison Burton trying to outbrake and get underneath the 41 of Custer. And Harrison actually backed into Custer. Wonder how much damage is right there. Rear tires locked up, trying to outbrake. Turn 1 has been the trouble spot all day, guys.
What I don't understand is we didn't have a dramatic amount of practice, but we had, a couple 20-minute sessions plus some qualifying sessions, and we didn't see any of this lack of car control. We saw some rear grip issues on some of the long lateral corners, like 14 and perhaps 11, but we didn't see any of this just loss of control under braking. Yet today, all I can assume it's the track temperature that Parker talked about earlier has really taken away the braking capability of these race cars.
Practice doesn't pay.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you get out there, you start racing, and you know that opportunity to pass is under braking, then that's what you're going to do. You're going to try to overtake under braking. Hitch and I talked about it before the race, how important it is to get good launches off of these corners and then be able to drive deep into the corner to take a spot. Parker, continue on in four.
Yeah, back to Kevin Harvick here. Just take a listen to his radio after getting spun on that last restart, Jeff. I think this goes to your point of being angry.
Tell me who bulldozed me. 48 started it, but I could tell you who finished you off.
And that's the crazy part, right? When you have all this melee happening, those restarts of 4 and 5 wide, you want to be angry at someone, but the team couldn't even tell him who to be angry at because, I mean, he was being hit by 3 or 4 cars there. How do you even choose who to be angry at, Marty?
Meanwhile, Parker, on pit road, there's a massive chess match going on. Ryan Blaney trying to hang on to his car for about 3 or 4 more laps, and they'll come to pit road. So, Steve, what happens when the tires don't fall off as much as you thought? You burn more fuel, right? So right now, just talked to Randall Burnett, the crew chief for Tyler Reddick, who led the first 12 laps of the race. He thinks they cannot do the race on 2 stops, while Blaney, Byron, they could do it on 2 stops. They'll short pit stage 2 here, but an interesting dynamic playing out. Coming into the day, everyone thought they could do it on 2 stops. Now, maybe not.
Well, it really just determines on, how much fuel you can save while you're running under a green flag, how much fuel you put in on that first pit stop. The tire changes are so fast anymore, Rick, that you can actually change tires faster than fill the car up. So if you get in too big of a hurry on pit road, you can actually leave without the tank being full. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. Right now, if I could be anybody, I would just go ahead and be the race leader. I don't hate where he is. He's doing a fine job.
And I guess I want to question what Marty had just said there. Blaney and Byron have already gone 28 laps. They haven't come to pit road. So they can come to pit road now, and then they only have 54 laps to go. So you break that in half, and that's your 2 stops.
Yeah, so I think these guys right here are going to run, I would run it out even further. I think everybody can go about 33 laps. So, I would imagine these guys are going to run probably 2 or 3 more, pit with 3 to go in this stage, and then have 1 more stop in the final stage. The problem is the guys that pitted at 13, right, if they thought that was their first of 2, what Marty is saying is that first stop was too early.
This 12 car, man, is pushing it down in turn 1, Jeff. There's a lot of moments down there. It looks like he's right on that edge of control.
Every time under braking, the back of the car is just dancing all around. We heard Joey Logano, his teammate, talking about having rear brake troubles. We just saw a team car there. Harrison Burton locked the rear tires up on corner entry into 1. Now we're seeing it with Blaney as well. And William Byron sees it too. So William Byron's job right now is to put tons of pressure on him. Make that 12 of Blaney drive harder into turn 1 and try to get those rear tires sliding, getting loose and take the spot.
6 laps, under 6 laps to go in stage 2. And again, Blaney and Byron pulled away from Reddick, and Reddick has the fresher tires. He's 1.5 seconds back from Tyler Reddick. There's Blaney and Byron. You see him coming into the picture, but these older tires have held up very well.
Yeah, this tire is too good. Very little fall off. You see the 24 car coming to pit road.
I like that radio communication, all 4 on the asphalt. A good reference to miss that orange box, to not incur a penalty. So now we see William Byron will take the right-hand turn down on pit road, Parker.
Right, he was called to the pit road here using the code word Chevrolet on this 24 car. All the plan here is the first to blink on this strategy between him and Blaney, getting the lead by staying out there through stage 1. We expect this to be 4 Goodyear tires and filling it full of Sunoco fuel here on the 24. William Byron hitting out in 2nd place right now. This looks to be a routine stop. We'll be back for more in Indianapolis right after this.
T-Mobile has 5G here, and we also cover you up here. Yup. Get free Wi-Fi now with streaming all flight long. We do coverage differently, with expanded high-speed data across the world. So you're connected here, and here? Not yet. But down here, you're covered with a year of AAA roadside assistance on us. On the ground, in the air, or overseas, T-Mobile has coverage beyond the expected.
Is Dad posting a farewell to his favorite college freshman? No. he's switching his choice cashback category to gas. The road to college can be emotional, but also rewarding.
With the Bank of America customized cash rewards card, you just can't stop getting rewarded.
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Ma.
It was so easy. I found the perfect car. Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it! I thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana had all the answers. She didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople. Where do you guess who just checked in on me? Mom. Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Get a dozen shrimp for only $1 with any steak entree. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
Fishing helps ease my mind. Kind of like having Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Whoa!
Look out. Minions are biting today.
Minions, The Rise of Gru, only in theaters.
Hey! Richmond is for everyone. Like people who love short tracks, packed with excitement. And families who love one-of-a-kind fan grounds, putting you closer to the action than ever before. And even people who want to have the most fun they'll have all summer. And, of course, Richmond is for all folks who want to end the summer with a little action. The NASCAR weekend at Richmond Raceway, August 12th through the 14th. Get your tickets today at richmondraceway.com.
They have to pick acts to go to the live shows. Half are going home.
Make sure to download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring or in-car cameras and radio broadcasts. Search NASCAR in your app store and you can download and start a free trial. Blaney still leading. We see Michael McDowell on pit road. Parker.
Right, just pulling away 4 tires. This was routine stop here as these strategies start to play out as we get towards the end of stage 2. Michael McDowell won the first on pit road, Dave.
And with no wins in 2022, Martin Truex Jr. comes into this one as the man on the bubble. Car pretty good for him now. James Small told me this morning he improved every lap in practice. They ran only 11, and he got better every time, Marty.
You see Joey Logano coming down pit road. They're going to run this stage short as well. His teammate Ryan Blaney still has not pitted today. You know, there's an old adage in racing, be the last to pit first and the first to pit last. Ryan Blaney winning that battle today. They're going to come down pit road this time. For the first time today, you're going to see Ryan Blaney come on to pit road here. His only complaint about the car is that it just has no drive off. You also see Tyler Reddick matching him here. So that point being made that Randall Burnett made to me a moment ago, I don't think we can make it in 2 stops. So Tyler Reddick matching the move here with Ryan Blaney coming to pit road right behind him. Reddick has had no complaints about his race car. Blaney saying need a little bit better drive off. But what's amazing to me, and Steve, everyone on pit road noticed it, those tires, those Goodyear tires held on so well for Ryan Blaney. I think everyone's knowing, hey, you can stay on those tires forever if you want.
Yeah, so this is going to be very interesting as we see Blaney and Reddick take their pit stop. Christopher Bell stays on the racetrack. So, you know, you go on vacation of a race, Rick, and you think you know what plane you're getting on, the option 1, 2, or 3 when it comes to pit strategy, and we've had 2 jump strategies a couple times. We're just going to have to wait to see where it plays out when we see where the cautions are. You see how much longer the 12th pit stop takes as they have to wait on that fuel. That's what we talk about. It doesn't dump as quickly, and therefore the 8 should easily beat him off pit road, and he does, just because he doesn't need fuel, or as much fuel.
So the 3 cars coming off the pit road, they'll blend back in. Again, now race leader Christopher Bell. When he crossed the start-finish line with 2 laps to go, that closed pit road, so no one else will be able to make their way onto pit road now without any kind of a penalty. But Christopher Bell is going to try to make it all the way back to the finish line after another lap as we listen into his radio.
Let's start working on saving a little bit of fuel here. We're going to stay at the stage. There's no lap time fall off here, so we'll save hard when the caution comes out.
All right, so there's your translation. That's Adam Stevens communicating to his driver very clearly what his strategy is. Hey, save a little gas. You have a 7-second lead. We're going to stay at the stage. We're not going to pit is what that means. 34 of 82 laps have been run. 49 laps to go. So what I need you to do is save me a little bit of gas so I can not pit at the end of the stage, and we'll then run 10 or 12 laps into the final stage and pit for our final time, Jeff. So, kind of what Marty was talking about, the tires and how well they're gripping up. Crew chiefs are going to have to continue to adjust. That's what makes these so difficult. We talk about strategy like it's black and white and you can know what it's like at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, but none of us predicted this chaotic start. Cars backwards everywhere, cars locking up tires everywhere. And while we didn't think there would be a lot of tire fall off, I'm shocked even with that situation how well Blaney was able to lead. And there's a difference between no fall off, as far as grip and being able to leave off the front of the field.
So now he can save fuel. That's Christopher Bell. He was on pit road on lap 13, and we have completed 34 laps of this 82-lap race.
You listen to him, he's very gingerly applying the throttle. A 6-second lead back to Kyle Busch, so this will be one of the slowest laps. The last lap he ran was 3 seconds slower than what he had been running. He probably do the same thing again here. To move the car forward, you burn gas. So the easier you go, the more fuel you save.
Through turn 13, and now the big sweeping turn 14, the right-hander to get him back out on the front stretch. And it will be the first career stage win for Christopher Bell. And it happens at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard.
It's a shocking stat.
Kyle Busch on a similar strategy. He came on lap 17. Bubba Wallace was on pit road at lap 12. Chase Elliott, lap 17 also. Denny Hamlin, who we've seen struggle almost all of this race, finishes 6th in stage 2. Also on the pit on lap 12 strategy. Briscoe, Custer, Jones, and Ware round out the top 10. So guys off track, 6 wide going into turn number 1. Christopher Bell gets stage 2 win. We're mapping the schedule presented by Advance Auto Parts. Next week, we're in Michigan. And if you're traveling fans, you run into car issues, AAP is there for all your car needs. Every one of these drivers wants to end up in victory lane, and right now 2 of the best are there now with DJ and Hinch.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. We just thought that we would show you what these drivers are racing for right now. It's about this trophy here. One more stage left. A lot going on. Kind of interesting strategies, but I don't think it matters if you're driving a stock car, any car. Saving tires and fuel is kind of the same thing, right, Hinch?
It's the same thing. It takes the same skills, and actually they kind of help each other to save fuel in these cars. What you're doing is at the end of the straightaway, you're lifting off the throttle, long coast phase. That way you're using the brakes a little less, maybe a little less likely to have some of those lockups that we saw. So ultimately, when you're doing that and you're saving fuel, you're saving brakes, you're saving tires all at the same time. And we said it at the last time we spoke, Ryan Blaney was doing a phenomenal job. He continued all the way to the end of that stint he wanted to do. So far, he's doing a great job at a track that's normally punishing on tires.
Yeah, and we know that now things are really going to ramp up, and I'm sure this restart, guys, can't be crazy or anything like that as they go down into turn 1, right?
If you could be 8 wide, they might do it on this restart. We have seen 6 wide. It's been pretty incredible. And Hinch, how have you enjoyed this crossover weekend?
Oh, guys, it's been awesome. I mean, to have Indy cars racing here yesterday, and then obviously the Xfinity race now being here with Cup. I think anytime you get race fans here at the Speedway for not 1, not 2, but 3 great races, it's huge. It's been a lot of fun being here, watching and learning a little bit. Hope all the NASCAR fans are watching the IndyCar race as well and got to enjoy that. And, man, I can't wait for next year.
Well, we've enjoyed the mayor of Hinchtown able to join us for this Cup Series race. He was a part of the Xfinity Series broadcast yesterday as well. Great insight coming from a driver who has spent so much of his life racing on this racetrack. See the 18, the 9, and the 5 all making their way onto pit road. Dave.
Here comes Chase Elliott, to the surprise of his crew chief, Alan Gustafson. They were discussing whether or not to pit, and Chase wanted to know, should I? And nope, stay out, and suddenly the 9 was here. So you have to adjust to that, and the crew will now go to work, give him the Goodyear tires and the Sunoco fuel he needs. He needs a bit of an adjustment, too, because the car is not exactly to his liking, and one thing they can't change, and he's tried to, is the balance of the brakes. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Marty?
12 stage points in the book for Kyle Busch today, and he finishes second in that stage. A number of cars obviously staying out right here. Kyle saying the car just a little bit too free, and Ben Bayshore telling him, hey, I think tires might actually start mattering the longer this race goes. A little bit longer there on the left front. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but with less cars on pit road, shouldn't cost him too much. But Kyle said the car not bad. He also asked for an ice bag. Very warm here at Indianapolis this afternoon.
So just a few takers on pit road this time, and we will update the starting order when we return. Get ready for an all-access pass to the world of NASCAR like you've never seen it before. The drama, the pressure, and the danger, all to become a champion. Don't miss the new NASCAR docuseries Race for the Championship. It premieres September 1st on USA. NASCAR Cup Series from Indianapolis. It's the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard, about ready to get underway with the third and final stage from the road course here. Dave.
Talked as Chase Elliott was coming to pit road how there was a little bit of confusion. Steve, I want you to put yourself back in the chair as you listen to this conversation between driver and crew chief.
If y'all said something, I sure didn't hear it until I was already there. So.
No, it's my fault. I was working on it, trying to figure it out. Just was a little bit too late.
Last voice was Alan Gustafson, Steve. He was working on the strategy when Chase spied him coming to pit road, and then you had to adjust.
Yeah, you know, one thing I've noticed, Dave, is, you know, as I sit up here in my transition to television above the track, not worrying about one specific car, not worrying about communicating with my driver, it's so much easier to put pen to paper and decide what you think is right for each driver because you don't have any other emotion in it or any other distraction in it. As a crew chief, you are doing so many things. Should you pit? Should you not? What's your fuel mileage? What's your air pressure? If we do pit, what's our adjustment? What's our competitors doing? That it's very easy to just simply lose track of where you are in the pace lap, Rick. And you heard it right there. I mean, no one was upset, but yeah, man, sorry, I was working on it and I didn't get you the information. Chase pitted. Those things happen. Even at a big track like Indianapolis Road Course, it's easy to kind of get lost in the task at hand and forget who else you have to tell.
Parker.
And think about Adam Stevens on the 20 car, the crew chief here. He went into this race telling me, I believe this could be a 3-stop race. That's how they designed their strategy, but they had the 2-stopper sort of in their back pocket if they saw the tire fall off. Wasn't that bad? Well, it wasn't. He's gotten to lead, and he said the strategy is simple now for Christopher Bell. Get a good restart and build the biggest lead he possibly can, so when they have to take a little bit more fuel than some of those other cars that pitted later in this race, hopefully they've built enough gap to cycle out right in front of them. So the strategy's simple here for Christopher Bell. Go fast.
Yeah, let's just make the strategy kind of at home. What does everyone need? Because that's really what matters. Doesn't matter how they got here. Christopher Bell, Wallace, Dillon, Hamlin, all those guys, they're probably a little short on fuel, so they need to save a little gas, but they only want to stop one time. The challenge is they need to put a lot of gas in. They're going to have like a 13-second pit stop. You look at the guys at 17, kind of the same issue. Reddick, Byron, those guys, Rick, not only are they pretty confident they can make it on gas, they're going to come down pit road. They're going to have a shorter pit stop. They don't have to wait on fuel. When the tires are done, the car will leave. So now if you're Reddick, you got to stay as close to Bell and as close to Wallace as you can so they can't save fuel and you can beat them if they have a slow pit stop.
Pressure them as much as you can. And the field approaching the Geico restart zone again. Hang on, folks. How many wide will we be this time?
See Ty Dillon in that red car on the inside lane did not get a good launch.
Briscoe puts himself in the middle there, Jeff. A little bit of a risk.
And underneath him, here comes Tyler Reddick. They're going to make contact.
Everybody in line, clear.
Everybody got a little piece of contact through that corner. Briscoe's clear. Sorry, Rick. Briscoe's clear, as you see, through 5 and 6.
Side by side. Look at the run that gets the yellow car, Blaney, that 12 car. They were side by side through there. He was able to build a lot of momentum. Now going to try to get 2 spots.
Also keep your eye on the 34 of Michael McDowell. He is making up a lot of ground here. He goes through the turn right there and trying to get by Ross Chastain now.
Chastain's trying on the inside of that 24, had to give that up. Now he's got McDowell on the inside of 10.
And now side by side. It's going to be really tough right here to maintain your composure. Turning the car, a lot of right front lockup here. Everybody pretty clean so far.
Which, that might be the first time you've said that all race.
Oh, the restart just started.
Suarez hard into the back of the 34. McDowell's, they come around turn 14. Suarez in the 99 on the outside of the 2 car now is Cindric.
Back out onto the front stretch they go. It's still Bell out front. He has put that distance between himself and Bubba Wallace. Driving the orange number 23. Chase Briscoe running 3rd. Hamlin 4th. Tyler Reddick is 5th.
Blaney on the inside, the yellow car of the 41 of Cole Custer. Takes that position away. Byron trying to follow him through. Byron jumps to the outside of the 12 now. Byron, the white car here in the second screen. They all try to close in on the 43 of Eric Jones, who just signed him a new contract with GMS Petty Motorsports.
Eric Jones, we've seen a lot of tire smoke out of that 43 as well. He's been hard on the brakes to start this final stage. Now to the inside, here comes Ryan Blaney trying to take that spot away. Moves him out of the way.
Little contact there. Byron to the outside now in 8 and 9. Little smoke back there.
Looks like Keselowski off course.
Brad Keselowski misses turn 7. Gets it going. Still only 2 cautions in this race for the stage breaks. And 42 laps to go as we come up on the halfway point of this race.
Bubba Wallace doing a great job sitting here in 2nd place. I know we haven't went but a lap or so on this restart, but that 23 car holding position. That's all he needs to do right now, Phil. He's got 2 fast cars right there behind him. And Briscoe and Reddick. Marty, what you got on this 23?
He's got a hold position as Tyler Reddick tries to go past Chase Briscoe right there. He'll get that pass done. So Bubba Wallace in the orange 23 right there has a lot going on behind the wheel. Why? Listen on the radio.
So, Bubba, we're 3 laps short from making it on 1 more, but we're going to do it. So just save fuel.
So there you go, sitting in 2nd. So Jeff, walk me through as a driver how you save 3 laps of fuel at a road course. That seems very difficult.
Well, you got to shift early. You don't run the engine all the way up to the RPMs that you would for max performance. Just shift a little bit early. And then, under braking, maybe not drive in quite as deep because you don't have to downshift as much. The problem is you got a guy like Tyler Reddick all over you. It's very difficult to not do that. But, you know, Marty, it's hard to go fast and save fuel. And in the middle of this chaos right here, Bubba's got to decide what's important. Am I racing this track position, Steve, or am I racing speed?
Yeah, that is the balance you have to do. But I will say that Toyotas overall, in my opinion, have found improvement from the other road courses, because I'm not sure they had enough pace at the previous road courses to pull any of these strategies off. Bell leading, Wallace in the Toyota in 3rd, Hamlin in 5th. You know, it's really been well documented how bad they've been at the road courses. We don't know where they're going to finish today, Rick, but so far, I would say a gain for what they're lacking speed-wise.
I can't believe Hamlin's sitting there in 5th place. I know they're on a different strategy, but everything that we saw from him in stage 1 told me he wasn't going to finish in the top 25. But here he is. Like I said, they regrouped, settled in, found a pace, found a braking zone that he can deal with, and they're making it work, Parker.
Hey guys, another great run here for another car, the 42, that red one right there of Ty Dillon for Petty GMS. These guys have struggled at the road course this year for both those Petty GMS cars. Qualified back to the 28th position, but used the strategy to get up here and just was in the top 5. Has now fallen back to 8th in a similar position there to Bubba Wallace. Pitted on the same lap, trying to save a little bit of fuel so they can do this race on 1 more stop, but a great run for Ty Dillon.
Happy contract weekend to his teammate Eric Jones. Got a multi-year extension with Petty GMS, trying to hold on to the 9th position right there as Ross Chastain looks underneath him. Earlier this week, he said, I love the momentum that we're building at this race team, and I also appreciate the fact that my opinion matters here. Those are the reasons I wanted to stay here. Eric Jones with a nice contract in the books and trying to get another top 10 here at Indy today.
It's getting rough once again. The 1, the 34, the 99. As we see Michael McDowell, he put the bumper to the back of the one there just moments ago. So fighting for every spot on this racetrack. Differing strategies. We know everybody has to come back to pit road at least one more time. But right now it's Christopher Bell out in front by 3.5 seconds in front of Reddick. Download the Goldfish free-to-play slots app. Visit goldfish-racing.com. I want to thank them for this great camera angle, looking back at how hard the drivers are having to work, especially right here with A.J. Allmendinger. Parker.
Right, and thanks to Goldfish Casino for this awesome shot, because as you look at those hands of A.J. Allmendinger, and they're going all over the place like he's swatting a set of bees inside that car. That has been the problem all day. Very loose inside that 16 car throughout this day. At one point, A.J. described it as undrivable. But do not despair if you're an A.J. Allmendinger fan. Last year when he won this race, he said about midway through, we were not good, but we put ourselves in position, and we found ourselves in victory lane at the end of the day. Maybe this could turn out the same way, Dave.
Parker, have a Coke and a smile, and thank them for this onboard shot of Denny Hamlin. Remember earlier, this car was so evil, Denny spun on his own. They fixed that on the lap 12 caution. Now they are sipping some fuel to get to splitting their final run. They will pit just one more time. That should come in the next 4 or 5 laps, Rick.
And you mentioned what a handful Denny Hamlin had as we take a look at the Toyota driver update for Denny. The start that he had was really fascinating. He started off, he's a great road course racer, but started off by spinning on his own. He was as low as 34th on the racetrack and has been as high as 4th on this strategy. We know that Denny is going to have to come to pit road within the next 4 laps, but it's going to be tight for some of these guys who came on pit road on lap 12.
Yeah, it's going to be tight for sure on fuel, but at this point, I think everybody knows the challenges that are in front of them. If we get a race recap on incidents, it would take 2 hours. I mean, it's really been shocking, the amount of contact. I mean, 14 different drivers have had issues already, and we're barely through the second stage.
What I'm looking forward to is NASCAR America Motor Mouth on Monday and Wednesday, when you guys get to talk about this and the fans get to call in and chat with you about it.
I'm not even supposed to be on the show Monday. I might just call in to give my opinion on everything else, just so I can see if my man Burton down there's notebook is full. I'm calling and ask what exactly happened.
I am on the show, and I look forward to calling in. Let's make a lap with Denny Hamlin. Show how difficult this racetrack. Part of the reason we've seen so much aggression, this part of the racetrack, 4, and now he's coming to this very, very fast turn 5, 6 complex, trying to straighten it out all you can. Heavy up on the curbs, long back straightaway. But Junior, this heavy braking is where we've seen so many incidences. Hard on braking right here. It's a great passing opportunity. Multiple cars backwards in this part of the racetrack. And now a very slow, listen to the throttle, how slow this part of the racetrack is.
They can cut that particular part of the racetrack pretty much however they want. Potential to lock the right front up into this braking zone because you're kind of laterally loaded to the left. Not a lot of weight on the right front. This corner is one of my favorites. It looks like you can turn in sooner than you can, but you got a late apex, so turn in really, really late so you can get a little straight drive off. It's more of a 90-degree corner, more than a 93-degree corner coming on the 14 there than you think. So battle for the lead shaping up here. We know they're on 2 different strategies, but this 8 car really showing that he has more pace than anybody out there today.
How about this, Junior? A lap ago, or 2 laps ago, ran the fastest lap of the race. Tyler Reddick did.
No surprise after the performance at Road America a few weeks ago.
And if he hears that the 20 is trying to save fuel so that he can make it to his window, what Tyler Reddick is doing is pressuring him as much as he can, getting behind him and making him run harder.
It's going to be very interesting how this plays out, because you're probably going to see some yellows as well. So first thing you got to do is finally get where you think you can make the rest of the race on gas, and then somehow keep it on the asphalt, which is been okay by yourself. A little bit tougher in a pack.
It could be in the next 2 laps.
At USAA, we've been called too exclusive because we were created for officers. But as we've evolved with the military, we've grown to serve all who've honorably served. no matter their rank or when they were in. A Marine just out of boot camp, or a petty officer from 73, and even his kids and their kids. USAA is made for all who honorably serve and their eligible family members. Are we still exclusive? Absolutely. And that's exactly why you should join.
We get out, fire it up, hook big ones. We get out and rip it, and we track them down. So crack a Mountain Dew and get out and do.
Ed Vance here, and I'm at my favorite place again.
Sorry, did you say your name is Ed Vance?
That's me.
Like advance?
Crazy, right? And it just so happens he knows everything in advance.
Oh, you know the future? Did you know I needed 10W30?
No. I just know everything here in Advance Auto Parts, like where the 10W30 is.
So you don't know what I'll do next?
Actually, I do. You will be going to the oil aisle.
He's good.
He's Ed Vance.
I spent a lot of time here.
He's here a lot.
This is how we advance.
Think Dad's searching doggy diet plans for Josie? No, he's switching his choice cashback category to home improvement, so he earns more on a new doggy door. Extra large.
With the Bank of America customized cash rewards card, you just can't stop getting rewarded.
Welcome to Subway's biggest refresh yet. They're drafting 12 new subs for their all-new Subway Series menu. This is exciting, Tony.
Oh, you've never seen stats like this before, Chuck. The new Monster has juicy steak and crispy bacon.
Dang, but what about the new Boss? Meatballs covered in marinara, coupled with fresh mozzarella. It looks so good. It makes me hangry.
Did you say hangry?
And pepperoni, too.
Pepperoni? No, I'm hangry.
The new Subway Series. What's your pick?
There are many types of turns at the Glen, not just the 7 that are paved with asphalt. There's the opportunity for a driver's first win and the chance of payback for another. There's space to camp under the stars and seats to see the ones down below. There's man, machine, and a quiet track nestled in the woods, ready to put on one amazing show. And it's your turn to witness it all. Watkins Glen. Get your tickets now at theglen.com.
I'm here to find my family.
Where the hell are we? Welcome home.
Great battle for the lead. Looking to the inside. Tyler Reddick trying to take the spot away from Christopher Bell. Reddick has more fuel, better tires. Can he get the pass? We know both of these cars will be coming to pit road here shortly.
That was such an aggressive move. Reddick remained right there. Fortunately, he came out of the throttle. Now inside of him.
And does he force the issue? Was Bell going to try to get to pit road here?
He's not going to make it from right there. What a race.
Tyler Reddick now leading at Indianapolis.
Tyler Reddick announced that he was leaving this race team at the end of 23, not this year, at the end of next year. Everybody said, well, they're done. They're not going to be able to run good. They're not going to be together. What does Tyler Reddick do a few weeks later? He comes here, sits on the pole, been leading this race. Tyler Reddick's not going to let that become a distraction, and Richard Childress doesn't need the car owner for it to be a distraction either. He needs his car to be running great, just like it is today, to recruit the best driver he can have to replace Tyler Reddick.
And we just heard the radio communication in 20 car. They calling Christopher Bell to pit road this next time by.
And I don't think you'll be alone. We've seen a few cars come to pit road, 7 in total. What does that mean? If you stay on the racetrack and the caution comes out, those 7 will cycle in front of you. That's the Tyler Reddick concern. He now has the lead, but you just can't run as long as you want.
Take care of it.
That was RC right there. Make time, but take care of it. All right, so you're going to see pit road entry is going to get busy on the top of the screen. We know the 20 is coming. We'll see if the 8 decides to come or if he wants to run an extra lap. It all really comes down to risk. The bottom of your screen, the right-hand side is the racetrack. If they run long into that corner, the straighter section, that's pit road as well. That's where we're going to see this 20. Pit him.
Does the 8 come?
That's going to be the question. I would come. Yeah, there you go. I love that move. You know he's coming behind you. Come with him. Now, the 8 needs less fuel, so he should be okay. Blaney stays on the racetrack. You're going to see at the top of the screen more join. Let's see how good they do on their pit stop. This is going to be really interesting to see how much time Bell loses, needing almost 20 gallons of gas, Parker.
Right, Steve, and you guys heard the call. It was right when he crossed the start-finish line to start this lap, hit this lap. This was a scheduled stop. Went as far as he could since lap 13 on this set of tires and fuel for Christopher Bell. Once the left side's right on the sign there, it's going to be 4 Goodyear tires and filling it full of fuel here for Christopher Bell in the 20. We'll see how that slows down the stop. Also, the bottom of your screen, you see William Byron on pit road. This should be a shorter stop than the 20 because he's last on pit road on lap 33, 4 times for him, Marty.
And just like William Byron, as Steve mentioned, this should be a shorter stop for Tyler Reddick as well, who is on an absolute mission today. Car so good for him, and you heard the voice of Richard Childress. He's reminded him, take it easy a couple of times, but he built a 6-second gap over Ryan Blaney. The 8 off pit road. We'll see where he cycles out once everybody else pits.
And looks, you know, a car length in front turns into 6, growing to 10, growing to 20, growing to 30 because he's back to speed quicker. So good job by the 20 waiting on fuel, but now you see the penalty it takes.
Yeah, we saw Tyler Reddick didn't have to take nearly as much fuel as what we had to see Christopher Bell take.
And that's new to this car. When we had 5 lug nuts, you could almost fill the entire tank up by the time you change 4 tires. It took 12 seconds, 11.5 seconds. But now that these tire changers with the single lug can change tires in 9 seconds, there's just not enough, you know, gravity didn't change, right? The fuel only flows so fast. Right. There you go, a comparison. That's a perfect opportunity. That pit time, that's purely fuel. I believe that, you know, the 20 lug nuts, I bet, are almost the exact same as the 8s.
Blaney out front now. He also came to pit road on lap 33. That's the same strategy that we saw out of Tyler Reddick. Allmendinger running second. And once again, the 6. Brad Keselowski stopped on the racetrack.
This is on the back straightaway, just out of the turn 5 and 6. Somehow or another, had some trouble getting through that switchback. Let's take a look. Here comes Brad sideways. Man, yeah, he was out of control.
Just trying to make lap time. You know, we see it on the ovals as well as on road courses. You got to push this car, but when it steps out, it comes around quickly. Brad's had an eventful day, to say the least.
Yeah, running 30th right now. Dave.
Ty Gibbs on pit road, his second Cup start, filling in for Kurt Busch. The car was going really free that last time. There you see the wrench going in the rear window. That'll change the balance of the car. Trying to help this young 19-year-old get around this track.
Kurt watching at home. We hope that he's feeling well and getting better. Can't wait to get him back on the racetrack, back in this 45 car.
Kurt's such a fierce competitor. Miss him being here.
Blaney on pit road now.
I love that entry. I mean, he is gassed up on that lane trying to get as much
well,
time
you don't want to make a
possible.
mistake. Right here is where pit road speed starts. Marty.
Rick, I'm sure Steve can understand Jonathan Hassler. I'm sure his heart was in his throat, Steve, when he saw that 6 car briefly stopped on the racetrack, thought the caution might come out. That would have really called out Ryan Blaney. Car has been really good, but somehow they have to make up this 6-second gap that Tyler Reddick built on that run. Blaney's saying car too free on exit. That's his biggest issue, and it's been his issue all day long. And look at this move by Jonathan Hassler. Fuel only. Steve, do you like this call here? No fresh Goodyear tires. Oh, and he stalls it. He stalls it, trying to get out of it. Stall only a second or so, but you don't know what that would have cost him on the track.
All right, fuel only. So he thinks even as quick as tires can be changed, let's get track position with gas only. So this is Blaney leaving pit road. Tyler Reddick on the right-hand side. Downshifts 2, 3 downshifts. Turns right. That stall could be the difference. Tyler Reddick maintains position over Ryan Blaney.
They were on the same strategy now. Fresher tires for the 8 of Tyler Reddick, but track position for that 12 of Ryan Blaney. He's now in front of Christopher Bell.
What a great call for gas only with all of these options and the new pit stops and the new car. I never even considered that even a choice for the 12 car. That's A+, kind of shaking that magic 8 ball and coming up with a new plan.
It's a great call, and you know Blaney's got to be kicking himself after making that stall on pit road, and he's going to have the steering wheel in his teeth trying to chase down this 8 car, Marty.
And listen, I know he's probably upset with himself for stalling it on pit road, but you got to give it to Hassler, Jonathan Hassler, his crew chief. Number 1, Steve, for the fuel-only car. But we mentioned it. That gap was 6 seconds. They've cut a lot of that down. Now, can Blaney run him down on the racetrack? That's the question, Dave.
On pit road now, the 9 of Chase Elliott, who had gone from 26th to 11th before the cycle of pit stop started. Good run for him. He'll have to, though, there was no way they were going to go 45 laps on fuel, so they have to come now with everyone else for this last pit stop. Bottom of your screen, Martin Truex Jr. His car was going really free at the end of that last run, so he'll also get Sunoco fuel to take him to the end and an adjustment to make that car more compliant.
Pit road is a busy place. And at this point, you know, we talk a lot about how you win, Rick, but it's also how do you finish the best for your car? For different teams, it's different. We see Cindric on the racetrack, Suarez on the racetrack, Allmendinger continuing to run. So he was in the gravel once today. He kind of knows, you know, my chance of winning but with this creative fuel stretch is kind of out the window. So now just run as long as you can, pit under green, and maybe just have fresh tires. And maybe your car will, we know tires haven't been worth a whole lot, but you know, at this point, the 16 can only play the hand that's been dealt.
We could see him go at least another 10 laps as far as fuel is concerned for A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah, so, you know, if he knows he's already running long, at this point, I would just imagine he's going to stay on the racetrack for all 10. Parker.
And Steve, just to add on to that, once he got to that clean air of the lead, if you looked his lap times, he started clicking off some of the fastest lap times on the racetrack, which is just padding that difference for him if he does choose to come down here and pit and maybe do a sort of fuel stop like we saw in the 12 or put those tires on. I think this sort of opens up their strategies a little bit.
That bird's getting really bad. Calm him down, Frankie. Just keep him calm.
I like that, Parker. It's when you have a talent like A.J. Allmendinger, clear track is your friend, right? Just, hey, let's not be creative. Let's just go run faster than everyone else.
Third fastest lap last time by for A.J. Allmendinger. The fastest was Tyler Reddick, who now is up to 8th. And he is currently the only one that can make it all the way to the end on fuel. At least he's the one leading that group. Reddick is running 8th. Blaney is 9th, but it's Allmendinger, last year's winner and the winner of the Xfinity race yesterday, who's out front here at the Brickyard.
Hey, fellow truck lovers, it's me, Bob. Today I'm going to show you the easiest way to make your truck better. It's a no-brainer. WeatherTech. Laser measured floor liners that fit perfectly in the front and rear. Underseat storage system keeps your cargo organized. Rolled up truck bed cover protects your cargo bed. Bump step to guard the rear bumper, no drill mud flaps, and of course cup phone for your phone. Boom, better truck. Hope you were paying attention. Now remember, get all your American-made protection at WeatherTech.com.
And Doug.
All right, Limo, give me a socket wrench, some pliers, and a phone open at LibertyMutual.com. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And you can even save $652 when you switch. Okay, I need a crowbar and a blowtorch. Limu, call a mechanic. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. T-Mobile has 5G here, and we also cover you up here. Yup. Get free Wi-Fi now with streaming all flight long. We do coverage differently, with expanded high-speed data across the world. So you're connected here, and here? Not yet. But down here, you're covered with a year of AAA roadside assistance on us. On the ground, in the air, or overseas, T-Mobile has coverage beyond the expected.
When you hear best-in-class range or best-in-class fuel economy, you may be thinking of really tiny cars. And you'd be really, really wrong. The Ram 1500. Exceeding expectations. Again. No wonder more people are switching to Ram than ever before.
Every dollar counts these days, so take advantage of this great offer from Ram Trucks.
They have to pick acts to go to the live shows.
Half are going home.
Jimmy Fallon has just seconds to give the perfect one-word clue.
Shaving.
Manscaping.
August 9th, join Jimmy and host Kiki Palmer in the game where you can say any word.
Finagle.
Gargamel.
Well,
Virgin.
just don't say.
The clue is
the password.
I made a mistake. I said the word.
Password premieres August 9th on NBC.
It's taken the PGA Tour's very best just to get to this point. Now, it'll take more. The FedEx Cup playoffs begin August 11th through the 14th with the St. Jude Championship from Memphis. Coverage on Golf Channel, NBC, and Peacock. This aerial coverage brought to you by Geico as we look once again at the Brickyard golf course, Brickyard crossing there, and a couple holes on the inside of this very famous racetrack as we see the 38. That's Todd Gilliland. He is out front. He came to pit road on lap 32. So Gilliland, Kyle Busch, Bowman, and Hand all still have to come to pit road. We're going to see Kyle Busch make the move now.
Yeah, real quick on this 38 of Gilliland. What a great weekend. Had a great qualifying effort. Talked about his transition from the Truck Series over to the Cup Series and how to use all the driver data and the SMT to improve his weekends. And, you know, he's going to end up cycling back after the pit stop, but at some point you need to go out there and you need to lead. You need to remind yourself you have the talent to be in the Cup Series. It's an uphill battle. We continue to say it takes 70 or 80 starts to figure it out. He's very young in his Cup Series career, but doing a nice job in what is a very chaotic race.
Yeah, 22 years old, and these are his first laps that he's ever led in the Cup Series.
He'd never been to this racetrack. Qualifies in the top 5 in the first round of in the session of qualifying, able to qualify in the top 10. So amazing job just for a limited time on the racetrack, Marty.
Kyle Busch pits from third here, and I agree with what Steve said earlier, considering their best road course finish of the year has been 28 to this point. They've collected some stage points today. Much better performance from Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing here today. It may not be a top 5, but a nice performance from them. And Junior, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. You know, all the contract talk with Kyle Busch, do you get the sense that maybe the ice is melting here and they'll get a contract done soon with Kyle and Joe Gibbs Racing? What are your thoughts?
I just pay attention to the way Kyle does his interviews, and if he's frustrated and he's giving you, negative remarks in his interviews, it means to me that things must not be going that well the way he wants them to do, or he's frustrated about it when you bring it up. Over the last couple of weeks, the conversation has gotten a lot more mild, and there's been some smiles on the face of that driver, the 18 car. I think things are getting a little bit closer as he's starting to understand how to get what he wants and be driving the race car. I think that 18 car is the one he wants to drive. I think they're going to come to some terms soon.
We saw right behind
pit road this time.
All right, pit road this time. I think that's the 38. Right behind him was the 48 of Bowman. On the right-hand side, though, the 15 of Joey Hand. This driver, very well known in the sports car world. He's won at Le Mans. He's come over and committed to run all the road courses in this car for Rick Ware Racing. I love that strategy of continuing to give him laps. You just talked about it, Junior, of how little bit of time you get on the racetrack before the race. Joey Hand doing a nice job. He had a little contact earlier that ended up damaging, I think, the jack post on this car. So that, I think, is going to hurt his pit stop speed. But nice to see Joey Hand enjoying his NASCAR experience. Parker?
Right, Steve. I had a funny conversation with him yesterday talking about his NASCAR experience. And he said, when I showed all that speed at Road America, that was really gratifying. I enjoyed it. But he said, once I got in the race and I was in that top 15, it was pretty evident that a lot of guys didn't feel like they would see me again very often. So the aggressiveness was quite high. He said that's going to be one of the biggest shocks. And we hear that a lot from drivers coming from the sports car open wheel world. The aggressiveness level of racing the Cup Series on these road courses. We see Danny Kvyat there has got an issue.
Yeah, Danny, off the pace. We're going to have to see. This is
like we have a flat right rear.
You see the tire, I believe, on the left rear. One of the rear tires is flat. The car is a little bit crooked as it's going around the racetrack.
He's in, turn 11 right here. It's kind of a little bit of a dangerous spot. A blind right-hander, hand out the window, but, limited spotters around the area. Just hopefully everybody, I guess he's far enough off, driver's right.
It'll get tight here, though, as he comes through to 12.
I actually wonder if it's not flat, no flat tires, and there's just a driveline issue.
Right. Oh,
yeah, there's something there.
I saw the left rear change directions like it has a toe link broken. You see the damage above the left rear tire like it's made contact maybe with a wall.
He's come all the way from turn 4. That's where he had spun.
Yeah, there's definitely an issue. Good point, Steve. See that left rear moving around a little bit.
He's on pit road now.
He's one of these drivers like Joey Hand that comes into this series and has to go do these restarts and all this crazy stuff that you see in the Cup Series. And Those guys, when they come in, they think, man, they just don't like me. What they don't realize, they treat everybody like that. Like it's just the nature of the beast and how hard you race here. Joey Hand in this 15 car, though, he has earned the respect of the drivers that he's raced with. He's done a nice job to put his car in really good positions, opportunity to have good finishes. And he's talked. Listen to some of the Ford drivers talk about how they've helped them become better race car drivers.
Yeah, I talked to Calvin Fish. He's the analyst on NASCAR or on NBC's IMSA coverage. He knows so many of those drivers in the sports car world, and I think,
big hit here for Ty Dillon.
42.
Wow.
And that brings out the caution.
That is a big impact for the 42. You see the door ripped open.
Turn 1 area.
The 5 car also down there. Both these cars involved in the same accident, I believe.
Ty was, and you see a lot of damage there to the driver's side.
Oh, I got pedal.
And a bad birthday for Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. You okay? Yeah, I think so.
I think so. That's a driver evaluating himself. It takes a minute just to collect yourself and figure out how you are feeling.
Look at the right front wheel. Don't see much damage to the wheels in these cars these days, but that wheel is distorted so badly from some contact somehow.
All right, we're done.
That's a hard hit.
Sometimes you can look at the damage and kind of have an idea of what happened, but I'll be honest, where this car is sitting and where the 5's sitting, I'm not sure what could have led to this. As you see Ty climbing out, there's Kyle Larson.
Kyle was already multiple laps down, just trying to finish his day out.
So the AMR safety team there attending to Ty Dillon as Kyle Larson's going to jog his way back into the infield.
And I think Kyle and him's going to talk about it for a second.
Wanted to figure out what went wrong there. Let's take a look.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and I'm sure Kyle was coming over to apologize.
Some sort of mechanical issue on the 5 car for him. Look at that. He is flying when he comes in there.
So I heard him say, wow. I have a pedal, which looking back now, maybe he didn't have brakes and now he does have brakes. That's the one thing that seems to make sense. And to your point, that is why he went over to talk to Ty Dillon.
I'd say we're lucky that wasn't worse than it was. I mean,
that was huge.
I agree, Jeff. That's a big impact. Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
I mean, the speeds that they're getting going into turn 1, and if Kyle Larson didn't have brakes or the brakes weren't working, we're talking he could have been going 150, 160 miles an hour there at contact.
Yeah, what a scary situation for Kyle Larson. Ty Dillon didn't know it was coming, but Larson did. Larson's driving in the corner. He knows he's not going to be able to stop and just trying to avoid, minimize hitting. It's a terrible situation to be in. Let's go listen to what he said. This is just before the wreck.
Confirming that your brake fans are on. Yeah. I'm standing on the pedal really hard, though.
Yeah, standing on the pedal really hard.
So he asked about the brake fans. I'm not sure if they were cycling on and off. I'm not sure if maybe they see some temperature in the rotor, in the braking zone, somewhere on a camera. I mean, it seems like a very odd question. After a restart, that makes sense. Hey, did you put your fans back on? Right, Dale? I might ask you to shut them off under yellow and turn them back on as soon as we get going. But we've been in a long green flag run. It was a 22-lap green flag run. It's just a very odd question to be asked in the middle of a green flag cycle.
Could he have been answering Larson? Larson may have been saying, hey, I've got problems with my brakes, and then he says, have you turned your fans on?
Yeah,
could that have been an
for
answer?
Sure. It's an odd conversation at this point during the race, and it was clear that the 5 car was not able to slow his vehicle down.
A very violent crash here between the 5 of Kyle Larson and the 42 of Ty Dillon. Both walk away from this one. As a matter of fact, Larson jogged over just to check on Ty Dillon. NASCAR fans, don't let anything pass you by. The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all your favorite tracks. Search NASCAR Tracks in the App Store to download for free. It's the NASCAR Cup Series Racing Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. And under the first caution for an incident today, and it was a big one. It's been a big weekend, as a matter of fact, as we look back from the Coca-Cola Pace Cam on the pace car, but just about to cross the Brickyard right there. And earlier yesterday, the legends of this racetrack got together for a photo opportunity. And when I say legends, it's one after the other. Drivers that have won at this such a prestigious racetrack. You see Elio Castroneves there.
Casey Kane.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon, our own Dale Jarrett.
You see Brad Kay talking.
Saw Bobby Rahal earlier. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, as you mentioned. One of the cool things here, Mario Andretti. You think about it, this was a tradition started by Dale Jarrett, kissing the bricks. Well, Mario Andretti, he hadn't raced anymore. He wasn't racing, so he never really kissed the bricks here at Indianapolis, but he did that tradition with DJ.
So I'm going to tell you, if you're a race fan, that everyone that was down there was unbelievable, but I'm not sure anybody oozes more cool than Mario.
Yes.
Like, I mean, even everything he's done in his life, hanging around him, he sets cool to a new level.
Like Parker.
Kind of.
Right.
Kind of Parker.
Well, maybe not. I don't know if I'm that cool by any means. But a guy that is pretty cool and has put his driver in a great position here is Adam Stevens, the crew chief for Christopher Bell. So you use some great strategy to get that track position, get to the lead. What more do you now need to beat Tyler Reddick?
Well, he's pretty fast, to be honest with you. Can I just say I'm so happy that we have some speed in our car at a road course for once. Bell's such a phenomenal talent. He's so good on the road courses, and we just haven't given anything to race with this year. And finally we got something to race with, and we're close. But I think if we can get the lead on the restart, we could probably hold him off on equal tires here. But these restarts are tough.
We've seen a lot of contact and craziness amongst those restarts. What have you guys discussed and where he should position himself on the restart?
We haven't yet. I think we're going to have that discussion here in a minute. But it all depends on the row behind you and if you get dive bombed or not, and who can keep the tires from locking up down into one.
That's the money question there, guys. Where do you want to be going down the brake zone this restart?
It's not a question of if you get dive bombed.
Yeah.
They're going to, unless you can outbrake everybody, they're going to come in there at you. So, I have to go to the front row. I mean, I just have to pick. If I'm Bell, I got to go to the front row and try to outbrake Reddick and keep from getting run into.
The reason we're under caution, a very violent accident. Take a look at the speeds here.
Yeah, in slow motion doesn't really do it justice, but it just, we talk about racing cars, driving cars, and how things slow down and we are under control. You don't realize how fast you're going till you no longer have control or you no longer can slow the car down. And that's a great example of just how quickly these guys are entering turn one. And if you have a failure, it's going to be big.
Looking back, and it will be Reddick and Christopher Bell making up that first row.
So a few cars came to pit road. They're going to restart all the way back. Joey Ham, we were talking about him when that big accident occurred. He's going to restart 19th, first car on fresh tires. Everyone in front is pretty equal except for poor Ryan Blaney. Gas only call to try to have a chance during the green flag cycle, but unfortunately now, if you look right here, tire wear, everybody's in the green except for Blaney. His tire's red. They're worn out, so we'll see if it works for the 12 car.
Tyler Reddick, the control car, the race leader on the inside as they will enter turn number one. Christopher Bell in the number 20 on the outside of row one. And green flag back in the air. Now the race to turn one.
Bell did not get the launch that he needed on that outside lane. That's been an advantage to Blaney, who's trying to jump on the outside of Reddick.
Blaney trying to outbrake Reddick into turn one. Reddick with a good turn. 3 wide behind him. Reddick clears the 12. The 20 drops back to third.
Look at A.J. Allmendinger on the inside of the 20 car.
Big brake smoke coming out of the 16 as he tries to make the pass on the 20 of Bell. They continue to make contact.
Now we're going to be 3 wide. Headed into turn 7. Chase Elliott on the outside.
Allmendinger trying to outbrake Chase Elliott. He does. Through 7. 3 wide behind him.
This has been terrible for Christopher Bell. Losing spots right and left.
They're still attacking him. Once you lose momentum, man, it's like,
big crash
wreck
behind us.
The 4 of Harvick once again around.
The 4 of the 48.
Alex Bowman backing up. Getting it going once again. Both cars are going to move on. No caution.
I think the 4 car.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Junior. Yeah, you and I saw the same thing. The left rear in the 4 looks like heavy damage. It's going to absolutely be mechanical. Probably another toe link. This could end his day.
Sorry, bud, but I think it's a little bit more than that.
This is the driver who came in as the first driver out of the playoffs. We thought it was going to take a win, but more points lost today. I think that'll move it into a must-win for sure, as we see Chase Elliott and A.J. Allmendinger side by side into one.
There's another look. Sliding already was the 48 of Bowman. So many cars having to avoid going through the grass.
Live action. Look at the battle. They all got single file this time through 5 and 6 in order to set themselves up for 7.
That's a fight for third. Allmendinger has it right now.
You know, and the bad start for Bell couldn't have been better for Blaney. Out of row 2, goes 3 wide, gets himself up into the top 2. That's a real fortunate situation on those older tires that we mentioned.
And Christopher Bell cannot shake Michael McDowell. He'd love to get, by himself and be able to try to run back down these guys and get some of these lost positions, but Michael McDowell is on his inside, his outside, fighting him every corner.
Chase Elliott now, as they go into turn 12, has the advantage. Elliott takes third away from A.J. Allmendinger.
Smart move by A.J. No, it just doesn't have quite the pace the 9 car does. Doesn't push it. Talking about his bounce of his race car, not happy at all with the back end, no grip.
Loose, and that really hurts him in these corners. Let's go on board and listen to AJ.
Oh, I'm going to make a cut. Hey, man, do not hurt yourself. Whatever you do not hurt yourself. If you can't make it, it's not that big a deal, dude. Just wish we checked these things more to give me a chance, Cool yourself off, try to get you some water.
Complaining about heat in the car. Pushing himself beyond what he physically thinks he's capable of. Look at him, though. Still fighting, still working his car. Worked hard yesterday. I remember he did double duty. Worked hard yesterday. It's a little bit hotter, a little bit more uncomfortable today. Got to wonder if all those miles are catching up with him.
Not only did double duty, but won the Xfinity race yesterday. And now, holding on to the 4th position, Byron right behind him for 5th.
Christopher Bell's finally able to get clear of those cars behind him and close in on William Byron here.
Yeah, Christopher Bell's got to collect himself. He was sitting there on the front row thinking win, win, win. Didn't get a launch. Everybody built momentum on him. Now he fell all the way back to 6th. It's so frustrating as a driver. Race is far from over.
Guys like Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, obviously, when he's not behind the wheel, are going to look at this race and say, what a great job we have done. They have locked up Tyler Reddick for 2024 to join 2311, that race team, as we take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap, and it's turned by Tyler Reddick. 92nd lap for Tyler Reddick in that number 8.
We saw this at Road America also. No surprise that Tyler Reddick's making speed on the road course.
I think you also got to give RCR and that group a lot of credit for bringing winning race cars to the racetrack. Tyler Reddick, when he was hired by this team, he was hired to be able to improve things, push things along, challenge them. He's done that. He's allowed them to be able to improve their performance, improve their cars. It's going to be a tough loss for this company, but they're in a much better position before they hired Tyler as he steps away from this team.
And it's amazing that that's what we're talking about this season, when he's still running for a championship for RCR, and he has another year with that organization. But it was shocking news. Marty?
Boy, restart of the day to Ryan Blaney. Keep in mind, they have 18-lap older tires than everybody else in front of them and around them. But somehow on that restart, Blaney went up and gained a couple of spots. So, Steve, do you agree with the call Jonathan Hassler made in taking no tires last time? The older Goodyears, as you can see right there, much older than everybody else around them. Blaney has made it work earlier today, making it work right now. But what did that tell you about their strategy moving forward in on points as of now with 5 races to go?
Well, I think the conversation needs to be internally within the team. Do you think it's a win or do you think it's points? What's your way to go in the playoffs? And the gas-only call for the 12th car was the, hey, I think we need to win, so we're going to be aggressive under green. I thought this was going to work out worse on this restart than it did. Blaney's doing an amazing job because points-wise, if you're only racing the 19, I think you take 4 tires under green. So you know, I like the call, and it's going to, I think, work out for the 12, but I think over the next 4 races, they're going to have to just understand what they're trying to do as a race team, win or score points, because we have another road course at Watkins Glen in a couple weeks away, and the same choices will be presented again.
Well, Steve, this decision to only take fuel also puts him in a little bit of a precarious position as far as tire wear. I know that we've said these tires have been very durable, but are they going to challenge the tires longer than anyone else at the end of this race?
I think these Goodyears they brought here, though, can run more than a fuel tank. You just don't want to start locking them up. I think you could damage them if you start flat spotting, but you know, Ryan doing a great job behind the wheel and showing why he was one of the favorites that was picked ending into it. You see on the bottom of the screen the 4 of Kevin Harvick. So back to that points conversation, he was 17th coming in. So with him having a bad day, the 12 and the 19, that gap to make the playoffs is pretty big. Now their biggest fear is a new winner. Dave.
Steve, great news. Ty Dillon has walked from the infield care center under his own power after he got majorly surprised, it looked like. What did you feel?
Yeah, all I saw was a blue flash, and that's about the hardest I've been hit by anything. So first, I'm just grateful to God that I'm okay, and these cars are safe enough to take a shot like that. I just hate it. It's just we were having a good run with our Ferris Camaro and just blindsided, really. So I'm all good. It just it's been a tough year, but I'm never going to quit. We're going to keep getting better, and we're running good. Just things are happening. So you'll have days like that. You'll have times like that. You just never give up and go on to the next one.
Glad to see you're okay. We did attempt to talk to Kyle Larson, who was released after being checked a few minutes ago, and Kyle said, no, I just want to go talk to my guys. You guys thought maybe a mechanical of some sort. He wants to know what happened to his 5 car to start this thing.
I can understand that. Before he talks to the media, he wants to go get with his team and see why he entered turn 1 with so much speed. What mechanically on that race car let the driver of the 5 down. So good to hear from Ty Dillon, though.
Top of the screen, you see the hood coming up on the 48 car. And there's another look at that crash.
Oh, all 4 tires off the ground to the 5 and just flying through the air.
Yeah, just a flush hit. When they hit hit side to side on that right front tire, it was just a really hard hit.
And you have to remember the 42 of Ty Dillon. They made the announcement, Penny GMS and Ty Dillon, they will be going different directions at the end of this season. So he's still looking for a ride for 2023. Reddick out front here at Indy.
You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business of making you happy. We believe buying cars should be something that gets you hyped up, that you should be empowered to shop when you want, where you want, wearing whatever you want. And that your new car ought to come with newfound happiness and 0 surprises. So we promise that we'll treat you right, we'll put you in control, and all of us will stop at nothing to drive you happy.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Welcome to Subway's biggest refresh yet. They're drafting 12 new subs for their all-new Subway Series menu. This is exciting, Tony.
Oh, you've never seen stats like this before, Chuck. The new monster has juicy steak and crispy bacon.
Dang, but what about the new Boss? Meatballs covered in marinara, coupled with fresh mozzarella. It looks so good. It makes me hangry.
Did you say hangry?
And pepperoni, too.
Pepperoni? Now I'm hangry.
The new Subway Series. What's your pick?
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy. But it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to 0 carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
At USAA, we've been called too exclusive because we were created for officers. But as we've evolved with the military, we've grown to serve all who've honorably served, no matter their rank or when they were in. A Marine just out of boot camp, or a petty officer from 73, and even his kids and their kids. USAA is made for all who honorably served and their eligible family members. Are we still exclusive? Absolutely. And that's exactly why you should join.
NASCAR is on USA. It's a race for the playoffs. The drama.
Oh! Can he hang on
to it.
The excitement. The characters.
You don't like that kind of racing? Don't even watch.
Next up, Michigan.
Contact's made. He's going to win in Michigan.
NASCAR. Next Sunday, 3 Eastern on USA.
The playoffs. It's taken your best just to get here. Now, it takes more. Because if you want to win the ultimate prize, you have to earn it. The FedEx St. Jude Championships on NBC, Golf Channel, and Peacock.
Next Sunday, the NTT IndyCar Series will head to Music City to race on the streets of Nashville. Coverage at 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. What a weekend it has been here at Indianapolis. The IndyCar Series racing yesterday, as well as the Xfinity Series. Now the Cup Series taking center stage. We see Ryan Blaney trying to stay just in front of that 9 of Elliott. That's a fight for the second position now. Blaney, a lot older tires than what Elliott has. We'll see if he can hang on to that position.
And we see the 12 car having a lot of trouble, kind of just moving around all day long in the braking zones. And I think we'll see more and more of that as this 9 puts the pressure on him. And we also see the 9 offset just a little bit in the braking zone. I think that's just as much to get a little cool air to the brakes and to worry Blaney to be out of his mirror. Not really an attempt to pass, but as he's following this 12 car, he is putting a little more temperature in his brake pedal, in his brakes. That gives them a chance to get a little cool air. It's a great shot right here, Jeff, to see them working through this very technical part of the track.
Wow, Chase Elliott using all of the racetrack and some right there.
Heading to turn 12.
But Chase sees that 12 car moving around under braking and knows that's a weak spot. So the key, this part of the racetrack right here, very slow, 12, 13, 14 complex. So does he go through 13 right here? Now watch Chase Elliott. He wants to try to straighten this out as much as he can because it leads to that straight. He had to lift a little bit right there, but he wanted, if he could just enter with Blaney, just right on his bumper, I don't think Blaney can hold him back under brakes.
See if he goes to the offset just a little bit here as well to get a little cool air. Hopefully to maybe push that 12 car. Here he goes.
Right side corner. Right side your door.
Even there, you can see the 12 move around, and that was a huge overbreak right there. That was amazing he could beat him that badly. Shows you where the 12 is struggling.
I'm going to be interested in what this next clean lap looks like for the 9, just because he could almost match Reddick's lap time while chasing the 12 down. How much was he being held up by the 12? I think we're going to find out here in the next lap and a half or so.
Reddick with a comfortable lead does not want a yellow with that 9 car now in second place.
Is 3.5 seconds comfortable for Tyler Reddick with Chase Elliott behind him?
I think absolutely. The 8 car's got the pace. If he sits in there and doesn't make any mistakes, he can put the laps together to win this race. But a yellow and a fast 9 car on a road course, we got Road America all over again.
Just remind you that NASCAR American Post-Race Show will be on Peacock at the conclusion of the race. We'll be here on NBC all the way to the top of the hour, 6 o'clock Eastern. As Allmendinger now putting some pressure on Ryan Blaney.
This is impressive because I thought Allmendinger was going to fade, talking about being uncomfortable in the car and also knowing that this car just doesn't have a good balance. But this shows how good AJ is. Just a superior road course racer.
Now he's seen the weakness also of Blaney.
Now just 8 laps to go here. We want to go through the field. We'll start with Reddick and Martin.
Yeah, quick top 5 through the field. Rick, Tyler Reddick trying to add his name to the list here on the triple header crossover weekend to Alexander Rossi, who won an IndyCar, AJ Allmendinger, who won yesterday in Xfinity. But is there a concern maybe on the 8? Listen on the radio. That radio was Richard Childress saying, hey, remind him, take it easy on the brakes. I'm seeing a little bit of red. I don't want to see that. Tyler Reddick looks like cruising to a second win, Dave.
Dale Jr. gets the gold star of the day because, indeed, brake problems for Chase Elliott most of the day. They were not to his liking. So, yes, ducking out to cool them just a little bit before he made that aggressive pass on Ryan Blaney for second. And remember, 7 of his 17 career wins have come on tracks like this, Marty.
Ryan Blaney trying to hold on those 18-lap older tires and those around him. But the bigger picture for Ryan Blaney, which Jonathan Hassler has reminded him several times, keep that in mind. Kevin Harvick's had problems today. Eric Almirola had problems. So in the point picture, Ryan Blaney has gained 39 points as they sit right now. So he would have a fairly comfortable lead, Dave, or actually Parker, heading into these final 4 races of the regular season.
And Marty, the car that's trying to pass him there is the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger told me before the race today it was feeling eerily similar to yesterday or last year when he won this race. He said we weren't great in practice or qualifying. We weren't great to the middle of the race, but we put ourselves in position late, and that's when we were able to get the win when the 14 and the 11 wrecked each other there. So he feels like right now maybe this is coming together to put him in that same position. We heard where he was struggling with the heat inside that car. He actually ran out of water. Hasn't had water this entire last stage, so really putting in a tough effort here for A.J. Allmendinger in that 16 car. Behind him, the 24 William Byron, who's been very competitive today and now turning to the most competitive lap times on the racetrack the last couple laps. He was the fastest car on the track as he caught the 16 and the 12 as they've all tried to work by that 12 of Ryan Blaney. He has serious speed here as he's running in the 5th position.
Steve, you wanted to know about the 9 car, what kind of lap time he might run now that he's clear in 2nd place. Almost 3/10 better than Reddick, who's in the lead. Chase Elliott trying to go after his 6th straight top 2 finish. That's incredible. We've had so much parity, so much uncertainty all year long. Nobody's figured this car out where they run week to week. As outside of Trackhouse, there's been no consistency in any team except for this 9 car.
Yeah, it's coming on the right time of year, right? The dog days of summer. That's when the championship favorites kind of make their moves, start scoring those playoff points. You see he has 25 to Chastain's 14. So while those top 2s, as you pointed out, very impressive, he'd like to get that 2nd and turn it into a win to score some more of those valuable playoff points.
And he's going to get quite a few playoff points at the end of the regular season in 5 more races. Right now he's leading and has a handsome lead over 2nd place in the regular season standings, and you get 15 playoff points for winning the regular season. Elliott still 3.5 seconds behind Tyler Reddick, so he has not closed in at all with just under 6 laps to go. But a big damage here for Christopher Bell, the right front, and it'll bring the caution out. Another restart here at the road course.
Man, obviously the tire's flat. Is it?
Bring it straight to us.
Fender's missing. Did he flat spot it and blow a tire? Did he have contact? Let's take a look and see what happened to the 20. There's the fender on the racetrack. That's an issue. So right here, this is from 11 to 12, heavy braking. Jeff, you talk about how awkward the braking is. Oh, misses the corner. And then boom. Oh yeah, that fender's right in the middle of the front straightaway.
Tells me he flat spotted the tire into turn 12. We kept talking about it, kept waiting for it to happen, and it just failed the tire.
Man. Well, so first it's decision time. I am comfortable with saying I expect the leads to stay on the racetrack. Tires have not been huge. Well, that's the magical question, Rick. If you can answer that, then you need to go down 9 floors and sit on a pit box, because the truth is I don't know. Briscoe in 16th perhaps, or Hamlin in 15th. Do they say, hey, to improve I have to have tires? You want to be on offense or defense here? I would pit probably, if I couldn't start in the top 13, 14, I would probably be looking at tires. But we'll see if everybody agrees with me when we come back after break. 28 cars on the lead lap, 6 to go. Pits will open with 5 to go here in Indianapolis.
Under 5 laps remaining. NASCAR Cup Series from Indianapolis, the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. Right now it's Tyler Reddick up front. The crew chiefs earning their money right now as they will decide how far back will you make that decision to come to pit road.
And we're getting ready to find out. Pace car's got to turn left. If you go a little bit straight past there, that'll be pit entry. So I assume Reddick, Elliott, Blaney, no-brainer for the front 2, 3, 4 rows. The question just becomes, who is the first to think tires matter? It is going to be an absolute slugfest. So I don't know if tires are going to help you keep your car in control or not. 11 of Hamlin, first taker. Field starts to split from there. We see the 6 of Brad Kay. Kind of goes in either direction. The 11 was running 14th, but a lot of cars choose to stay on the racetrack. We'll see if tires pay off here.
Steve Jr. and I were talking about this, and we feel like that what's most important right now, even if you're back further in the field, is just trying to avoid the wreck that's going to happen in turn 1. Like, it's not about speed. It's just trying to find your way through that chaos. Dave.
Well, Alan Gustafson is, I believe you're counting cars, which is allowed in this, to see what you have to deal with here. Your man is in a great spot now with that gap caught up. How is it for the end for him?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's not been a super easy day for us. Certainly, the Napa guys battled through. Chase has done a good job. I think our car's pretty good. You know, the 8's really good too. So it's all about the launch here, and you know, who knows what's going to happen in turn 1. It's just real wide and the funnel's down, so it's going to be crazy.
All right, he'll be watching. Marty?
Hanging out with Randall Burnett as driver. Tyler Reddick's been fantastic today. Kind of feels like Road America all over the go. The 9 and the 8 battling each other. Steve called it. It's going to be a slugfest on this restart. How do you feel about your driver's chances?
Well, I like our chances. We've had a good car all day. Tyler's been doing a phenomenal job all day. I liked where we were at a little bit before this caution, about 3.5 second up. But the fans will certainly get their money's worth out of this. You know, you got Chase there and AJ, and so it's going to get exciting. I feel like we got the best driver for it, and this 3G team's been doing great all day long, so hopefully we can pull this out.
There you go, restart with a handful of laps to go. And Steve, I think that's the appropriate term, slugfest. We'll see what happens here.
Well, as I look at all the players involved, AJ Allmendinger comes to mind, right? He's in 4th. Well, this is how we won a year ago. It was Hamlin and Briscoe and cars off track, and that's what made the difference. But if you're saying the over-under, I'm taking over 5 wide on this restart at some point.
These have been the restarts already today. 7, 8 wide here as they enter turn number 1. And it's been calamity corner. Drivers off course, drivers missing the turn. We saw the big hit by Larson into Ty Dillon. But just trying to funnel 7, 8 cars wide down to maybe 3 can make it through there.
Yeah, and there wasn't a trophy hanging right in front of them on these. So imagine the intensity you're getting ready to see. And it's no fun. I mean, this is, from a driver's standpoint, being in the middle of this mess, it's all you can do is drive in there and just be on offense and hope it works out. Up in the front, whole different deal. We saw how important it is. We saw earlier Christopher Bell did not get the launch he needs. Chase Elliott right now has got to find a way to enter at least side by side into turn 1 with Reddick.
Yeah, I don't think anybody outside of maybe the guys on the front row get through this first turn without some sort of contact. So you got to kind of expect it and be ready. Be on the defense. I'd rather be lining up in the row that Reddick's in. You've got a lot of room down on that inside line, and that outside line, you're really vulnerable to what's happening underneath you into turn 1.
One of the other things that could come into play.
On you.
This might not be the last caution. 3 laps to go. And we know everyone's been fighting for track position up to this point, but now, with just 3 more times around, how aggressive will they get?
Little contact already right there with the 9 and the 8. The 9 has the better restart. Chase Elliott almost clear of the 8 car. 8's going to try to outbrake him down here in the braking zone.
All right, just 1 your left, 1 your right now. Middle.
A lot of contact. Around goes 2 cars, 3 cars now around.
The 9 car. Chase Elliott is spun out.
24 William Byron also has been around. And now, Eric Jones in the 43 goes around.
Truex, Dillon.
Austin Dillon in the 3, stops in the gravel.
Truex with a flat left front tire.
Can he get out of that gravel?
If Dillon doesn't get it fired back up and going.
So far, he's still sitting there, guys. Hasn't moved yet.
That's going to be another caution. He's trying
stuck.
To back up, and he can't. He's stuck.
He's stuck.
This is going to have to be a yellow. NASCAR's going to give him as much time as possible, but at some point the cars are going to go speed through there. There you go. There's the yellow.
Caution, and we'll have another restart.
I don't think Slugfest was even aggressive.
I know. I thought you were putting it lightly when you said that.
I mean, it was just. I I'm going to have to watch this a few more times, Rick, to see exactly what happened.
Watch the 22.
Logano.
Yes, exactly. All the way on the bottom. That just forces everybody into 5 wide, running into each other. Now the chase and the 24, that was ahead of all that. Let's see what happened with those guys.
Chase gets, 12 gets into Chase a little bit. Unintentional contact there between friends, but Chase loses all that track position.
Derek Jones around. Martin Truex Jr. a lot of damage. The 3, Dillon bringing out the caution as he's high-centered in the gravel.
So if we look at the 2 leaders, the 8 and the 9, right here, the 12 gets in, the 24 hits the 12. He barely catches the right rear of the 9, and around the 9 goes. And then he catches the 24.
Allmendinger comes through scot-free.
Yeah, let's focus on the front for this one. We'll go to the middle later. Yeah, 24 and a 12, a little bit of contact with the 9. And there's Allmendinger. He came out of that in second.
Cars going through the grass.
Truex has the left front tire issue back there. This is riding on the 14 car. There's just too much to cover. Oh.
I mean, the truth is, it's just, it's just no respect given to each other, to be quite honest. And it's so frustrating as a driver. You can do absolutely nothing wrong, and just around you go. People making it 5 wide, 6 wide. The problem is, Junior, if you're not on offense, you get run into from behind. So the goal, you get to the point when you've done this long enough, you see the damage on William Byron's car, that you're like, hey, I'm going to wreck somebody instead of getting wrecked on these late restarts on these road courses where we got these 9-degree turns in turn 1, and it's just so frustrating.
At some point, you'd be better off to go straight, go through the access road, and just blend over here.
We saw Randall Burnett, crew chief for the 8. Tyler Reddick scratching his forehead, knowing that they had a great restart. He was able to get out front, but he's going to have to do it again. You see the 3 of Dillon now rolling again, the reason for the caution, and bringing quite a bit of gravel out onto the racetrack.
Well, it's you guys' point, right? You have to be on offense, but like even Logano, when he hangs a right, I mean, he has to get back to the left side of the curb, and there's just no room for a race vehicle there, so he has no choice but to just kind of start squeezing people left.
They'll go to work on the 24 as William Byron with a lot of damage on that car, and it came from right here. The hourglass just didn't have enough room for all the pieces of sand. Next Sunday on USA, Cup Series racing from Michigan International Speedway. That race coverage beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern. Big 2-mile oval there in Michigan. Make sure to stay with us right here until 6 o'clock as we will have all the post-race action. And then post-race we'll move over to Peacock, and you can continue to watch the NASCAR America post-race show. Again, more driver interviews, race analysis, and will we see another celebrating A.J. Allmendinger? He's going to have another shot at it here as he will restart second to Reddick. Ryan Blaney, again, the older tires, but right there with the track position. Ross Chastain, one of the more aggressive drivers, is up inside the top 4. Parker.
Well, guys, we're here on board with AJ. You can see how hot he is underside that helmet. We've heard from him how hot it is. Take a listen to his latest radio.
I need Gatorade, ice bags, everything.
Yeah, we got you. Just hang in there. I know you're battling for us. No matter what happens, did all you could here.
Right, you see there he has no water, and guys, it's something I missed. He's actually been wearing a cool suit. Well, it has not worked since the start of this race. So I've worn one of those, the exact same one that he wears. I wore it at COTA and had that same issue back at COTA, and it's like wearing a trash bag. You have plastic tubes all around you. It makes you so much hotter in that race car. He's also out of water here, and that cool suit isn't working, so putting in a serious effort, Marty.
Parker, when that caution came out, first words from Randall Burnett to Tyler Reddick, save fuel. So talking to the team, they feel like they are good for one overtime finish. They're good for 2 overtime finishes. It's close, so 3 might be very difficult. And I only bring that up, Steve. You know, you've sat on the top of the box here before. Remember that Casey Kane race a few years ago? I think it ended in dark, and I don't know how many overtime finishes there were that day. And with the chaos we've seen on these restarts, that is certainly on Randall Burnett's mind right now.
Well, it's absolutely. You see the laps since last pit. You know, Bub Wallace down there in 10th has a couple extra laps over Reddick. Joey Logano has an extra lap. He's run 32. Then you start to see some guys that have entered the picture who have pitted recently.
Oh, boy.
Stenhouse, Custer, Bell. So, yeah, it's there's no doubt someone's going to get spun around. The question is, do they end up in the gravel or not? I think that's really the only question mark.
Well, Steve, have we seen it before? Yes, we have seen this before. A.J. Allmendinger a year ago, when the 14 of Chase Briscoe spins the 11, who was the race leader at the time, out, and then he has to stop because of penalty. That gave A.J. Allmendinger the perfect opportunity. He took advantage of it. Tyler Reddick, definitely experience on road courses. At Road America earlier this year, he was able to get by the 9, and Tyler Reddick gets the win. We saw one restart already out of Reddick. It was an impressive one. He was battling side by side with Chase Elliott. Now he will have to battle with A.J. Allmendinger, who will be beside him. You see the road course winners already this season. Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick. First Cup wins for all 3 of those.
Look at the opportunity that's presented to 3 of these names, right? Chastain and Suarez back inside the top 5. McDowell 6th. Todd Gilliland, we talked about the weekend he was having. He's currently in the 8th position. This could be a career day for Todd Gilliland. Harrison Burton has somehow kept the fenders on and everything straight. The 21 actually looks pretty good of all cars. Very little damage on the 21 inside the top 10. And then Stenhouse, LaJoy. There's cars up here that have a chance. You know, Ricky Stenhouse, a top 10 at a road course. I guarantee if you'd have offered that to him this morning, he'd have just got on the plane and went home.
I love the
absolutely.
I love your optimism, but we're about to send them all back down that funnel.
But that's why I got all the names in case they didn't come out.
The bad funnel that is down in turn 1? We're about to have to send them all through there again.
The funnel of pain.
Well, that's why I try to get all the names in, just so. Where'd they go?
The funnel of pain. Dave.
Oh, this driver doesn't mind a little contact. Ross Chastain has the 1 car in the 4th position, and I was just looking at it and thinking to myself, he started 21st. You just don't know on these road courses how it is going to turn out. It can go so crazy. So a 21st starting spot, not bad as long as you have the car under you. And as crew chief Phil Surgeon told me this morning, you've got a driver who likes to slide the car around. These cars tend to reward that, he said, and I think Ross is going to have a good day. He is so far, Marty.
Dave, we told the story about how Tyler Reddick is leaving Richard Childress Racing to go to 23XI Racing in 18 months. Yes, 23XI. He'll drive for them in 2024. But you have to give credit to Randall Burnett, Steve, because he said there was a couple weeks of anger, no doubt about it. Everybody was kind of mad that Tyler decided to make the move and announce it before the playoffs started. But he gathered his guys together, and he realized when he's looking at everybody in the room, he said, everybody here is a veteran crew member. You've been through all this. A lot of you were here when Kevin Harvick left Richard Childress Racing, when Clint Boyer left Richard Childress Racing. Let's show up and be professionals. And then they go out and finish 2nd at Pocono. Here they are with a shot to win the race. Steve, as a crew chief, it is your job to lead your group, no matter what the situation is, and Randall Burnett's done a terrific job of that with the situation with Tyler Reddick.
Well, when you look at Randall's situation, right, his career is going to be at a turning point as well. I don't know what his contract status is, but Tyler Reddick and Randall have found success in the Xfinity Series. They moved together to Sundays on purpose. And you know, way back when we first started seeing Reddick and his aggression, a lot of us questioned it. I questioned it when he's there rim riding the top at Miami. But Randall Burnett never did. They had this kind of, like, just an understanding. I don't know if I'm going to call it a father-son, but there was definitely some mentoring from the pit box that Reddick was comfortable to receive. So you'd have to ask yourself, you know, if I'm 23XI, I want to know what his deal is. I mean, I think 23XI has some great people, but in 18 months when Reddick's coming over, why not bring the guy? You know, you love Reddick for who he is. Well, the same crew chief has been on the box for a lot of this success. I would try to drag him with him.
Maybe some antacid for Randall Burnett as well, as he has looked like this has been a very tough end to this race. Parker?
Right, and you speak about tension. Well, the tension of winning down here for the 16 pit of AJ Allmendinger. Matt Colley, the owner of this car, is pacing back and forth down here in their pit. And you see right there, just in this other pit beside him, walking back and forth, just simply lost in thought of thinking about maybe getting a second win here at the Brickyard in a row, and actually won yesterday as well, so they'd sweep the weekend, which would be pretty impressive. And for this full-time Cup operation, last year they were just part-time. This would be a huge win if AJ can pull it off.
Yeah, and Parker, only once has a driver swept a Xfinity Series race and a Cup race weekend at a road course, and it was back in 2015, Watkins Glen. Joey Logano was the driver that had done that.
If he sweeps it, I brought it up earlier, next week it's the triple. We're going to put him in an IndyCar too. So he can just do it all.
So we know what AJ is dealing with. We've got the reports how hot he is, cool sleeves broken, exceptionally hot day. This whole caution made that worse. It is so much hotter when you're under caution. What AJ has to do now, there's no help coming for that. You got to just shut that helmet, get focused, pay attention to this restart. You got a shot to win a Cup race. It's a huge deal.
Who's behind you?
Look at the exhaustion. You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah, he knows how big it is, and he will find a way to step up. He see that right there? All right, it's time to go racing. It's time to make something happen.
2 laps. 2 more times around, and this will be overtime. Overtime presented by Credit One Bank.
Reddick's going to want to get a better restart than he did the previous.
AJ about ran into the back of the 8 right there, trying to get his tires cleaned off and warmed up. Now they're side by side. Reddick and Allmendinger. Allmendinger trying to sweep the weekend. Green flag back in the air.
Reddick has to go down the block.
Better restart that time for Reddick, though. He's got a car linked on second.
Look at me right now. Middle.
Somebody missed the turn entirely.
3 wide, 4 wide for second. Here comes Austin Cindric. Ryan Blaney sideways in front of the field.
Keep digging.
Side by side up front, though. Chastain, he's right there. They're going side by side through the kink.
And around goes the 1. He's able to get by the 8.
Unbelievable. Sideways, though. That's going to allow Reddick to get a run on him. Lost momentum on corner exit.
A lot of dirt and debris on the tires.
Chastain went off the track. So he did that access road to get back on track. Now, the 8 of Tyler Reddick continues to fight him. Is this legal for the 1 to be up here racing right now?
Like NASCAR's trying to figure that out themselves. Reddick trying to work hard to get back by him.
He knows he has Austin Cindric behind him. But the 1 of Ross Chastain was off track. He used the access road after turn 1 after he missed it. Reddick fights back. He's going to try to take the outside line.
Side by side right here. This is tough sledding to try to make this pass.
It's a good position for Reddick. He's going to take the lead back.
Reddick grabs the lead as he comes back out on the front stretch. 1 more time around.
Cindric's got to run on the 1 car. How hard will Chastain push in the braking zone here? He's in position.
Reddick slows through 1. He's clean. Chastain and Cindric. We believe second and third. Chastain still unsure.
A lot of respect right there in the braking zone of turn 1. Chastain a little defensive into turn 4.
And if you're Cindric, you really don't know how to treat Chastain. Is he legal? Is he supposed to be there or not? Cindric got really loose there. Chastain driving away from him.
Tyler Reddick, what a race he has put together. Through 7. Reddick now with 4 car lengths in front of Ross Chastain and Austin Cindric. This technical section of the Indianapolis road course, Reddick has been perfect. Can he get through? 13. For the final time, he does.
Oh, he almost missed the corner.
Here comes the 1 of Ross Chastain 1 more time. out of 14. Tyler Reddick looking for his second Cup Series win. It's going to come in Indianapolis.
All right. Great job, guys. Way to execute all day long. Great job, guys.
Career best finish for Harrison Burton. Ross Chastain, we have been told by NASCAR, was not allowed to be in that position. He will be penalized.
You just won in Indy. You are awesome.
And as Marty was mentioning, the team grouping together and talking about what they needed to do for the rest of this season as well as 2023. Well, the first thing they're going to do is celebrate.
That was a tense moment when he was behind the one car and he had the two car Cindric right behind him to keep it together, not make any mistakes, and then pass Ross Chastain for the lead.
In the second race in a row here where we had a car that wasn't legal, that had a problem in turn one. Last year, Briscoe through the grass. This year, Chastain on the access road. And there you are not knowing how to deal with them. Like, am I racing this guy or not?
And I have to tell the folks listening, Steve, you called this one. You said, you know what, I might try the access road to see if that would work because of the congestion in one.
The crew chief in me says that there's an access road that allows you to have runoff. You don't have to stop because it's a longer distance. So if you were attacked it, you might have a chance to miss the wreck. NASCAR obviously disagrees with that approach. They've taken the one's position away. So I'm going to be very interested to hear their reason. They have to officiate the race. I'm glad I'm not on their seat, but I was thinking just not to end up backwards. Yes. But either way, it didn't matter because the 8 of Tyler Reddick wins his first career race at Road America earlier, comes back and doubles down with 2 wins. No more concerns. You're guaranteed in the playoffs. Impressive drive by Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, I think NASCAR is just as happy that Tyler passed Ross Chastain as we are, because to have to officiate and throw out the winner would be a very difficult call.
Very difficult. This checkered flag moment brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. We've heard drivers talk about winning the Daytona 500 would be probably the pinnacle of their career, but winning at the most recognizable and historic racetrack in the world, definitely right up there. And we'll be able to hear just how important this win is for the 8 team and young Tyler Reddick, the 26-year-old from Corning, California. Let's hear from the race winner. We go to Marty.
What a drive for Tyler Reddick today, the dominant driver here at Indy. His son Bo coming in for a hug. And the crew sprinting up pit road to get to Tyler to celebrate. Second win of the year for this race team and a win at Indianapolis. Crew guys are out of breath. That was about a half-mile run for them. Well, I got to know your thoughts when you saw the one. He went through the access road. Were you as shocked as everyone else to see him all of a sudden passing you for the lead?
I was like, uh-oh. But, I mean, that was a scenario that had been talked about, you know, if you get bottled up, what do you do when, you know, you take the access road? And I couldn't believe he got ahead of me. I was kind of waiting to see if he was going to have a penalty because I didn't want to, you know, move him out of the way and make his race worse than what it was. So, yeah, I was really surprised by that. But, hey, we made it work. Hats off to Ross for trying to do that. But I'm really glad it didn't end up working out because I've been pretty pissed off.
I'm sure you would have not been very happy with that. Tyler, you made the announcement you're moving from RCR. How did this team rally to get back to this point where you could come together and win races again?
Well, I mean, we know what we're capable of, and we did that at Road America. And certainly it was a little bump in the road, but, hey, we've gone out and won a race fair and square a couple weeks ago. And you know, and if we change nothing, we just keep working really, really hard. We find a way back to victory lane. And just really glad to be able to do it here in Indianapolis. I mean, this is one really special place to race, and really excited to kiss the bricks here in a little bit, and really excited that we got 3G their win in their hometown.
There you go. As a young man growing up on dirt, Dave, he knew open wheel racing. He loves Indianapolis, and now he's a winner here. He gets to kiss the bricks.
Ross Chastain loves Indianapolis as well, I am sure. And all the places you can race here, you were looking for a spot there at the end. What were you thinking?
What do you mean, where?
Taking the access road there and getting off course there.
Oh, just trying not to be in the carnage there in turn 1. I thought we were 4 wide and couldn't go any farther right, and just decided to take the NASCAR access lane out there.
Was that something you and the team had talked about earlier? It's like, that's a great option, and it may not cost us anything?
No, Dave, no. Just pure reaction there for our Worldwide Express Chevy. I took it in practice on just overshooting turn 1, and you know where they're at, right? And 12, you have to go around the loop there, and there is around the poles. So yeah, just went to not get hit and merge back on where I merged.
All right, the strong day ends not the way that Ross wanted it to. Natural reaction there, guys, just getting out of the way.
You know, when we saw that replay, the one slowed down before he came back out onto the track. He was on the access road. He slows down before he comes back out in front.
There was an attempt in this braking zone. He's braking. All right. Then he finally says, you know what? I'm not going to go in there with these guys, because we see what happens. I mean, he kind of foresaw all this action right here, not wanting to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think he slowed down here because he had to make the corner.
Yeah.
I don't think he was slowing down to try to merge into Reddick. He just had to make the corner.
We're going to look at it again, and more drivers that we will hear from. We're here on NBC until the top of the hour. Make sure to stay with us for more driver interviews, more celebration from the Indianapolis road course for Tyler Reddick, getting his 2nd career Cup Series win. Son Bo celebrating with him at the Brickyard. All smiles for the 8 team. You see Richard Childress there, team owner. Andy Petrie, part of this celebration. We're going to be with you until 6 o'clock here on NBC, and then Peacock at 6 o'clock. Make sure to join us there for the NASCAR America Post Race Show as it will continue. Driver interviews and race analysis. And we've talked about what a tough run it has been for the 16 who had no way to keep himself cool. No hydration. He literally falls out of the car at the end of this race. His wife there.
Yeah, I would hate to speak for you, Junior, but I think it's fair to say we've both been in this situation before, and it's a horrible feeling when you get that hot. You get out and you think there's immediately you're going to feel better. You don't. It just takes a while to recover from it.
Allmendinger ended up 7th in this race after Chastain and Austin Dillon have been put back in the positions that NASCAR has deemed for them. Look at the playoff standings, and I'm guessing Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr., if they can't get a win, the next best thing is somebody who already has a win gets to victory lane.
Also, I think you pay attention to the playoff points. Tyler Reddick gaining more playoff points. We also have another road course before the playoffs start. Watkins Glen could go there and get some more if he doesn't get. He got a 2nd place finish at Pocono. Real potential for this 8 car to go deep into the playoffs.
Hey, you talk about surprise winners, and Harrison Burton, Todd Gilliland, Bubba Waltz, all the top 5. You make one of them the winner, this is a whole different playoff conversation. So one of the races where it could have happened behind some of these guys, Watkins Glen's still out there, and then don't forget Daytona to end the regular season.
Bubba Wallace, the best Toyota, finishing in the 5th position on this race. Michael McDowell, Cole Custer with a 9th place finish. First top 10 for Cole Custer in a long time. So he's able to get into the top 10. And you see Austin Cindric coming over here to congratulate Tyler Reddick. Cindric finishing in 2nd today here at Indianapolis. What a day it's been. More NASCAR coverage is always available on NBCSports.com. Continued post-race coverage available now on Peacock. Coming up next on NBC, it's local news, except on the West Coast. An incredible crossover weekend. IndyCar Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series, all right here at the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In the end, it was Tyler Reddick with an incredible drive. He wins at Indianapolis.